interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more.
Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates,
5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5.
You got me. You got me good there.
Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah.
Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight.
On the unpredictable.
What does she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace
Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
In the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK, we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News, the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
I'm Bev Turner. Thank you for joining us on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good morning. Police warn a summer of unrest could cause untold damage.
Public anger mounts as it's revealed that thousands of asylum seekers are using taxpayers' money to gamble.
Protests break out near a four-star hotel that's set to house asylum seekers this summer.
So is this the start of a summer of civil disorder?
The countdown's on to Donald Trump's arrival in Scotland, but police warn they're not prepared for the visit, as officers are sent to fill security gaps last minute.
MPs from across the divide unite to demand that the government does more to tackle pensioner poverty.
NHS patients warned of devastating delays as resident doctors push on with their 5-day strike starting tomorrow.
Food industry leaders lash out at the government's family farms tax with a stark warning that food security could be threatened.
School's out and many of us are heading off on summer holidays. We're debating if it's selfish or not for parents to jet off without the kids.
a bit strong, Nick. Oh. In sport this morning, Lionesses now know that they'll be playing Spain in the final of the Euros on Sunday after they beat Germany 1-0 in extra time, which happened last night. In cricket, England just about edged day one of the fourth test against India. Marcus Rashford becomes the first Englishman to sign for Barcelona in nearly 40 years.
A fairly settled day for much of the UK, but there will be some areas of rain moving in. Find out about weather in your area with me later on.
Just gone 6 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast. Interesting, this debate we've got later about parents going on holiday without their kids. I thought of you, Coity.
What's that about?
You wouldn't dream of going on holiday without your children.
Depends how old they are.
Of course it does. I mean, if your kids are like 40, you could probably go without them. Because that's the age I have of my children, then that's when they'll be able to go on holiday with us.
They've just been away with you, haven't they?
Absolutely, yeah.
They're late teenagers.
They are, yeah, nearly 20 and 18, both of them. So
that's lovely. I think that's really nice.
I think it's nice that they still want to go on holiday with mum and dad.
Yeah, they do. Well,
I mean, they get to go to the Maldives and stuff, so I'd be going.
Don't see that. No, we do. We get on really well. See, what I really can't stand, and I'm sorry about this, but
go on.
It's people that then, they have kids for the wrong reasons, and they go, we'll get the nanny to look after you. And I've been on holiday, and then they'll just take a nanny along, just let the kids...
No.
It's about... Yeah, I've seen it, and it's about, surely, spending time as a family. You don't often get to spend that much time.
People don't... It's a different world, though, isn't it, when people can afford nannies and all that sort of thing, and it is a different world.
But, Stephen, is it just...
It's like sending your kids off to boarding school.
Yeah, see, I just don't understand it. And I think... you want to enjoy that time, and then they don't know. And that's when you get people that will go, oh, yeah, you're so lucky you got good kids. You go, well, it's not really lucky. When was the last time you actually spent any time with your children? Well,
you like hanging out with them.
Do.
Would you ever have a weekend away, just you and Sue, though, like an anniversary weekend?
Yeah, sure.
But your holidays, you'd always have the children.
Absolutely.
Family holiday.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, well, let us know what you think.
I think that's perfect balance.
Well, I do. But that's the way we were brought up. I don't know, maybe it's different nowadays. gbnews.com/your say. Let us know what you think about that one. And if you want to go on holiday with us, you're very welcome.
I'd love it. You two come along.
We'll come on your next family holiday.
Yeah, it'd be lovely.
Your work family.
Right, to our top story this morning, and police have admitted they're not prepared for a repeat of last summer's protests.
Well, as officers are deployed to keep the peace outside a four-star hotel in Canary Wharf in London this week, it's reportedly preparing to welcome asylum seekers.
Well, the rise in tensions isn't helped by a Daily Mail exclusive that reveals thousands of migrants are using taxpayer handouts at casinos and betting shops.
So, is this the start of a summer of unrest? And if so, why hasn't more been done to tackle the public's concerns about immigration before it got to this point?
Let's talk to former Conservative advisor Charlie Rowley. I mean, it's quite an admission that police are this concerned that things are now going to boil over.
Absolutely. And there were summer riots last year. You would have thought the police up and down the country should be prepared for a riot or any kind of public disorder this year, which they, as you've just said, by their own admission, they are not ready for. It also comes at a time where the Deputy Prime Minister has admitted to the Cabinet that there could be civil unrest because of the way in which things are going, which is almost unheard of for a Cabinet Minister to admit that there are these significant problems.
It's interesting, as you talk, Charlie, there's some people holding up signs on screen saying, I'm not far right, I'm worried about my kids. Well, of course, this was a problem that the Prime Minister had last year when he said it was all just far-right protests.
Exactly, and, those that might be protesting are part of a far-right bandwagon. And there are so many stories that everybody on this channel and would have talked about, and other guests as well, from those riots in the summer and on the back of the Axel de Picard case and the death of those, the murder of those three beautiful young girls. We've then seen an almighty number of people come into this country illegally to be put up in and housed in hotels that get £50 a week in terms of benefit that they're now spending, as you've just said also, it seems, on gambling, which I'm sure we'll touch on, as well as getting their medical bills paid for, on top of protests in not just Epping, but now in Canary Wharf and in Hampshire as well, because people are worried about their communities. They're worried about the cohesion. They're worried about taxpayers' money and where it's going. There is not enough housing in this country as it is, where there are millions of people on waiting lists. And it seems as though that UK hardworking taxpayers are at the bottom of every queue going, not to mention the two-tier policing that we've seen during some of these protests. And it seems to me that the only thing that the police would be prepared for this summer is to accompany maybe counter-protesters in their vans, as what we saw allegedly in Epping, which, if that is proven to be the case, I think would be an almighty faux pas, to say the least, on behalf of Essex, because you've just got to ask yourself the question. Whatever the motive of protests, whether they're and they should all be peaceful, and whatever side of the protest you're on, and the police might have, as they've tried to claim, this a particular piece of legislation or whatever it is that allows them to escort people from A to B. Would they do that for the protesters that are there in the first place? You've got to ask yourself that question. People who are protesting outside of these asylum hotels, because they are worried about communities, they're worried about the amount of money that is spent on the people who come over to this country that you see after front page on front page, day after day. We don't know who these people are. They tend to be young men of working and fighting age. Of course people have got a legitimate concern. Would the police be bussing them to protest? I don't think so. So real questions to answer for the police all round.
Yeah, and there's simmering anger that is being felt in the public. I mean, we've got this story in the Daily Mail that you've just referenced there. Over 6,000 asylum seekers last year using government-issued prepaid cards. They're £50 a week. They're spending it in betting shops and in casinos.
And, you know, it would be funny if it wasn't so criminal in itself, it seems, in terms of just, you know, what can go on. If you're handing out cash, then, of course, you don't really know where that cash might be going. But it's not cash. These are government-issued bank cards. These are to obviously give to people who, I think a very small number of the numbers that we see of people coming into the country illegally on small boats will be refugees, but there will be some that may have legitimate concerns, and there are some people who are women and children. You can't dispute that, but the overwhelming majority do seem to be young men. Those people, when they're going through a claim, they may need genuine support, and we've always been an open country to help people who are in genuine and legitimate need. But 6,000 people alone just to go gambling on the back of what is UK taxpayer money. That is absurd. And that is why, even when you try to be open-minded and when you try to plead for calm and you try to take the heat out of this debate, which can get very heated, and you don't want to see tensions flare, but you can't help it. You can't help people's blood boiling over their breakfast cereals today when they hear this kind of story on the back of all the others, where you get your free healthcare, 50 quid a week, asylum hotels, accommodation. Come right in. You know, where is the deterrent? Where is the grip that government, not just this government, obviously the last government didn't have a grip of it also, that's why they so fundamentally booted out of office. But the fact that after two successive governments, there doesn't seem to be any progress whatsoever in this area, that's why people are angry, and that's why we may see these tensions that the police are not ready for.
We do not want to encourage civil unrest. You know, we've got to be very careful about that. It's not about encouraging what could happen, but it is an indication, isn't it? I mean, Nigel Farage was talking about unrest earlier in the week. We are hitting a situation where people have just had enough. I mean, it really is that sort of boiling point issue, isn't it? And this is why we're seeing it spill over now.
You're absolutely right. And look, you know, we mentioned it, just touched on it a second ago, where the Prime Minister got it fundamentally wrong, I think, by his admission, his team's admission, calling just, you know, people that might be protesting far right and calling it a far right bandwagon. That proved to be incorrect. So there's an opportunity now, and it's not even just a political opportunity, it's for the country. You know, the Prime Minister has to lead the nation here, and he has to be absolutely upfront about understanding and recognising people's concerns, dealing with protests that get out of hand, but allowing protests to take place where it might need to take place, but making sure that he's reassuring the public that there are the deportations that need to take place, that the processing system is up and running, that is processing people that might need to come into the country, the majority of which shouldn't be here, and they are swiftly removed. He needs to demonstrate that actually there is a grip of this situation, but so far it's been found wanting. But until that time, I think people will continue to read these kinds of stories that we're reading today. They'll continue to be angry and upset, and we never know where that leads to. So the Prime Minister and the Number 10 and the whole government have got to get a grip on this before it's before it's too late.
Yeah. OK, Charlie, you're back with us in the next hour. Thank you very much.
Well, in response to the hotel in Canary Wharf that's set to house asylum seekers, the Home Office said the government is making strong strides to deliver a more sustainable and cost-effective asylum accommodation system. This includes ending the use of hotels, testing new locally led models and working closely with local authorities and other departments to ensure a fairer, more efficient approach.
A spokesperson for Tower Hamlets Council has said that we are aware of the government's decision to use the Britannia Hotel in Canary Wharf to provide temporary accommodation for asylum seekers.
And a spokesperson for Essex Police, where we're seeing these incidents around Epping, said officers did provide a foot cordon around protesters on their way to the protest. These are the alternative protesters, if you like, the counter-protesters, where they and others were allowed to exercise their right to protest. Later, some people who were clearly at risk of being hurt were also escorted by vehicle away from the area for their safety. To reiterate, we categorically did not drive any counter-protesters to the site on any occasion. I mean, it's concerning, though, isn't it? It is concerning, and it's this whole it's this whole issue. I reiterate again, we're not encouraging anyone to get involved, but it is that point where you can see, and you just have to go about and talk to people, that frustrations are now so high that nothing, against the fact that nothing seems to be happening.
Well, something needs to be done, and fast. And the likes of the stories in the Daily Mail this morning talking about these government prepaid cards being used for asylum seekers to gamble, over 6,000 people doing so last year. I mean, surely you can see the transactions going through on the card. You can see what they're being spent on. I mean, surely those cards could be blocked. I mean
you'd think
how did it get to this point?
You'd think so. I would
How
all
has
like
it been
50...
allowed to get this far?
I mean, I'd love 50 quid a week to go gambling.
I
That'd
know.
be smashing.
Have a little flutter. It'd be lovely, wouldn't it? But not
anyway.
now for the likes of you or I.
No, let us know what you think, gbnews.com/your say.
Now, at 12 minutes past 6, it's time for your daily reflection.
The GB News Daily Reflection.
Hi, my name is Andrew Latimer. I'm a Church of England minister at Grace Church in Greenwich. There's a physical principle which we teach to children, which is what goes up must come down. And there's a corresponding truth, which is what goes down must come up, certainly with tennis balls and pogo sticks. And it's also true in the natural world. So if we put a seed down into the ground, eventually, you've got to wait a bit longer, it will come up, like my basil plant. And Jesus said that what is true in the natural world with seeds is also true spiritually. He said this: unless a grain of wheat falls into the ground and dies, it remains alone, but if it dies, it will bear much fruit. Now, in the first instance, Jesus was teaching about his own death, which was actually only days away. And he was explaining to his disciples that what he could do is go on doing these extraordinary miracles, feeding the hungry, raising the dead, healing the sick, and so on. But ultimately, if he carried on like that, there would be nothing to show from his life. Ultimately, it all comes down to his death. But if he goes down into the ground, he will bear much fruit. And 2,000 years on, we know what he was talking about. Billions of people impacted right across the world because of his sin-bearing death. And Jesus says this principle, which is true for him personally, going down into the ground, is also true for those who want to follow him. We too must go down, laying down our lives in service of others, and then we can be confident that, like Jesus, we will be lifted up and we will bear fruit in our lives. And here's the principle: let's remember that what goes down will come up ultimately.
It's 6:15. Now let's head to the States. Donald Trump is, well, I say head to the States.
But we're actually heading to Scotland tomorrow.
Yes, it's crazy, isn't it? So he's in the States at the moment, but President Trump will head to Scotland, as Ellie says, for a 5-day visit tomorrow.
Well, alongside opening his new golf course, the President will meet with the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, and Scotland's First Minister, John Swinney.
Well, the President might be glad to have a bit of a respite from Washington after reports that he was told his name is in the Epstein files, back in May, apparently.
Well, the White House has called the allegations fake news and said it's a conspiracy concocted by the Democrats.
Let's talk to US correspondent Sarah Firth. Sarah, good morning to you. This issue, unfortunately for the White House, is just not going away.
It's really not, Stephen. Rumbling on, and what we saw is that House subcommittee, just before you had the members of Congress going on their August recess, their summer holiday essentially, pushing through a vote to subpoena the Department of Justice to release the Epstein files with the names of victims redacted. Now, that vote ended up going through 8-2, with 3 Republicans joining the Democrats. That is not what President Trump wanted to see. It's not what the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, wanted to see. And actually, it caught people in Washington, D.C. a little bit off guard that they managed to do that right before you had that recess. And it comes on the back of this new information that has emerged that President Trump was informed by his Attorney General that his name was in the Epstein files. Now, the White House, so far, they haven't responded specifically to this vote, which means that when the recess comes back, the whole issue is going to be presumably opened back up again and just keep rumbling on. But what they have said in response to President Trump having been informed by the Attorney General of his name being in the files is that, yes, he was informed, but that doesn't show any indication of wrongdoing. A lot of Republicans on the Hill today were saying, look, do you really think that if the Biden administration had this information for all these years, they were the one who pushed through this arrest of Jeffrey Epstein, that they wouldn't have come out with the information that would damage Donald Trump? But nonetheless, this is a really, really difficult time for the president. It's divided his own Republican Party. And as you said, Stephen, it's just not going away despite the administration's attempts to just shut this story down.
Do you think it could potentially overshadow, Sarah, the trip to Scotland, this 5-day trip?
Well, Ellie, I mean, I don't know if either of you play golf, but he is predominantly going to be in the UK, leaving on Friday, going to Scotland to open one of his golf courses in Aberdeenshire. It should be, you know, a sort of unofficial private getaway for the president, although, of course, not low profile. There's going to be a number of meetings, as you'd mentioned, with both the Prime Minister and Scotland's First Minister. A chance for him to get away. It's his first visit to the UK since he was re-elected. He's going to have some presumably quite nice photo op moments, some handshakes, some diplomatic dealings as well, even though it's not the official state visit. That will come in September. But with this recent vote just being pushed through and with these latest revelations, he's still going to have this all to come back to. And so, yes, there is a problem here for the Trump administration. And that is, as I've mentioned, that this isn't just a Democrat issue and they're pushing really hard on this. This is something that within the Republican Party itself has really divided his followers. And so today what you saw with the vote, with the vote on Wednesday, this quite rare instance of this breaking away from the official Trump administration line, from the Republicans, and pretty embarrassing for the Trump administration as well. The question now, of course, is, are we going to get more of these files from the DOJ now that there's going to likely be a subpoena issued? What will be in those files? Of course, you'd had Elon Musk back many months ago coming out and tweeting during his fight with President Trump that President Trump was in the Epstein files. We now know that he was informed of that information, the White House saying, look, there is no wrongdoing. But it's something that the media aren't going to be letting go of. but more importantly, many within his own party, his own MAGA supporters here in the US are just not going to be loosening their grip on anytime soon by the looks of things.
OK. Sarah Firth, good to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Now at 6:20, it's time for a check on the weather with Amy.
Thanks. You too.
Heavy showers first thing will be followed by a warm, cosy day. Boxed Boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Hello and welcome to your latest GB News weather update from the Met Office. Dry with sunny spells for many across the UK, but it will be a particularly wet day for those in eastern parts of England, and there'll be further rain arriving from the west later on as well. There's that area of rain arriving into Lincolnshire, into parts of East Anglia and then into London as we head later on through the morning. But for much of the UK, there'll be plenty of dry and bright spells with this frontal system arriving later on in towards the evening. Temperatures, again, are going to be around 18 to 20 degrees across the far north, warmest in the south, 24 or 25 for southern Wales and southern England. But underneath this cloud and with this rain and with this North Sea coastal breeze, it'll probably be feeling a little bit chillier across the far southeast of England. Here we can see temperatures around 18 degrees or so. Warmer though for Devon and Cornwall, and plenty of sunshine here. Wales seeing a nice day as well. Cumbria and for parts of western Scotland who saw quite a damp day on Wednesday, there'll be plenty more sunshine as well. Further north though, for parts of Shetland, there'll be some showers coming through as we head through the day as well. Through the rest of Thursday then, so that rain that was affecting London in the southeast will slowly start to move away as we head into the overnight period, and there will be lots of dry spells around, but this frontal system will be slowly and steadily moving eastwards as we head in towards Friday morning, arriving and giving some mild conditions, 14 to 16. Coolest temperatures will be in central parts in rural locations as well. But across the central parts of England, and particularly the southeast, will be a dry and bright start to the day on Friday. Further west, though, that frontal system, weakening as it moves eastwards, will introduce some further cloud and some quite rainy and drizzly conditions. Over high grounds of Wales, it could be quite murky as well there. Cooler across the far north, 17 to 20 degrees, but the warmth in London around 28 degrees.
There will be a light breeze in the morning, leading to a warm front. Boxed Heat Pumps, sponsors of weather on GB News.
This is our country, and we think it's amazing. From high tea to the high street, we love it all. Even the rain, we like that too. There's nowhere else we'd rather be. That's why we're here to be the fearless champion of Britain, its voices and its values. Because we are GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You've read the headlines, you've heard what those in power have to say.
How about now we actually get to the truth?
They would pay attention.
We go beyond the political theatre and tell you what's really going on behind the scenes. For a massive council tax hike, one of the biggest in the UK. Others follow their lines, but we go off script.
You sound like a broken record. You say that week after week.
Cutting through the narratives and giving you unique perspectives. That's Ben Leo tonight, Saturdays and Sundays from 9 p.m. on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Now, if you're travelling to work this morning, I think all schools are finished now, aren't they?
They are.
For the summer.
That's it, done.
Lucky them.
Finito.
Yes, here's the traffic and travel update.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. There is no access to the A723 Motherwell from the M74 southbound junction 6 off slip due to ongoing maintenance. Drivers should follow diversion routes and allow extra travel time. In South Wales, the M4 from junction 37 Pyle to junction 39 Grows is closed for construction, with diversions in place. On the westbound carriageway of the A45, traffic congestion is reported, but normal conditions are expected soon. And on the trains, there's a Great Northern disruption at Finsbury Park, and Hull trains are operating a reduced service due to industrial action. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
It is, what time is it? 27 minutes past 6. Now, the head of agriculture at Marks and Spencer's has backed farmers over the inheritance tax row with the government.
Yes, he's claiming it will put young people off entering the industry and could jeopardise the future of our food security.
Let's talk to farmer and YouTuber Ollie Harrison, who joins us now. Ollie, good morning to you. I mean, we know there is a lot of focus on food security at the moment, which the government says it's still very important. However, do you think this backing from M&S will make a difference?
Well, obviously, M&S buy a lot of food from UK farmers, and they've realised already, as a few other supermarkets have, that the confidence has just completely gone out of the industry. It's not investable anymore. Farmers aren't spending any money, whether it's putting up buildings, getting more livestock, buying tractors. The tractor sales are the lowest they've ever been since, I think, 1998. You know, the industry stalled on the 31st of October, and it's just uninvestable at the moment, and it's only going to lead to a decline of domestic production. And in the report that came out by the Treasury the other day to sort of like justify the numbers behind it, they said, oh, it doesn't matter, we can import it. Well, that isn't very food secure, is it? And it's probably not going to be the safest of food because they don't have the standards all over the world like we have here. So it's hardly surprising that they've come out with that agreement, really.
But young farmers are the future, aren't they? They're the next generation. Are you hearing in your community and in the industry that there are young people that are maybe thinking about other options, maybe thinking about pursuing different careers, seeing that there might not be a future for them on the family farm?
Oh, yeah, every day. I mean, you know, if the father or mother or whatever were to pass away, the 20% bill on the assets is just not sustainable. I mean, last year, even government's own figures, we made minus 0.8% on capital returned. Well, how do you expect to pay 20%? It's just, people can't afford to farm anymore with this legislation. It's just absolutely ludicrous. And we just seem to be hitting this wall of ignorance, really, not wanting to listen to how agriculture works. And also other family businesses that may have been built up over hundreds of generations, hundreds of years, several generations. To then expect one generation to pay 20% of the value of what that business is using to operate, it's just not possible.
I mean that's the thing. I know there's a lot of focus on farming. It's not just about farming. It's not just farming that this affects, is it? And at the end of the day, I mean, farming we need for food security. Small businesses, we often seen as the green shoots of the economy when they start to grow. We're very reliant on both sectors, and they're both being hit.
Yeah, and we are all taxpayers as well. You know, if we make profit, we pay tax. You know, other businesses obviously can change their own pricing structure so that they always do make a profit, otherwise they wouldn't be here anymore. Agriculture is always the outlier, and the sums that have been done by different people that are a lot cleverer than me, you know, suggest that this is actually going to cost them 1.7 billion a year, not generate them 500 million. It's going to cost them 1.7 billion in lost tax revenue, job losses. You know, the whole thing is just upside down, and no one seems to be realising this. I mean, even yesterday, there's a guy trumpeting on LinkedIn because he'd won an award at the HMRC party for his input into this legislation. Well, I'm sorry, but anything that awards someone that's encouraged, that's come up with a document that is causing people to take their lives and businesses to close, is just so out of touch. It's unbelievable.
We're almost out of time with you, but what support do you need to see in the industry to keep family farms running?
Well, family farms and family businesses is you know, go on the website. I think it's called Who's My MP or whatever, and write to your MPs and tell them. And obviously, if you're in the shops and you've got the option to buy something British, buy something British. But you know, it really is these backbenchers need to realise that they won't be in a job if they don't look after the people that employ their constituents.
OK, Ollie, good to see you. Thank you. We're going to be covering this throughout the course of the day today. It just seems, look, if there's an alternative answer to this, if there's something that we're not getting or that we're getting wrong or that the farmers are getting wrong on this that we don't understand, we need to be told. But as it currently stands, you cannot see how this is anything other than just problematic.
I mean, farmers are saying the only people getting it wrong are the politicians, aren't they? I mean, Ollie describes it as a wall of ignorance, just a lack of understanding about how farms run and how farms work.
It's what it seems like, doesn't it? And actually, that figure, it sounds very, very high, but as Ollie said, £1.7 billion in lost taxes as a result of this policy, actually is a believable figure. If things start to shut down. So it's going to be interesting to see. I don't know if it's going to be sustainable for the government to keep on with this. It's just it would be another U-turn and a difficult one for them.
Yeah.
But would it actually be another black hole for Rachel Reeves to fill? Would she view it as that? Or would it actually, if Ollie is right, then it would actually save her a whole load of money?
And you've got the food security issue as well, which is of the utmost importance at the moment. But a good reminder from Ollie there to buy British where you can. And if you can afford to in the supermarkets, do try and buy British.
Right, should we cheer you up with our Great British giveaway? Because the time is running out. You're down to just over a week and a bit, I think. £54,321 could be yours in cash. Here's how.
There's just 2 weeks left to see how you can win our biggest cash prize so far. £54,321 in tax-free cash is up for grabs in our summer Great British giveaway. Cash to spend on anything you like. All of that cash could send you on a holiday, boost your savings, or just send some of those day-to-day financial stresses packing. Lines close on the 1st of August, so make sure you don't miss out. For another chance to win, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB14 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Welcome back to Britain's Newsroom with Andrew and Beth.
Hello everyone, Patrick Christie's here.
I'm Michelle Duke, Britain's News Channel.
Access the stories that matter to you. Take the GB News family with you on any device. And as long as you have an internet connection, tune in to GB News anywhere on the planet or beyond. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Dawdney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power?
Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber.
Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics.
We'll see where this ruling takes us.
These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays, I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes and Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. It's time now to go through all of the latest sports news with Paul Coit, who's here with us. Morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I am a bit nervous now. I'm not.
Why?
Really.
Why?
Well,
come on.
It's a rerun. I know it's good to have
England,
hope.
Spain.
But England, Spain.
Don't worry about that. It's going to be fine.
Really?
No. You know, it will be. It will be fine. See, the thing is, what worries me, Ellie, is that you are always supremely confident.
I know, but Spain...
Whenever we talk about anything, whether it be Spurs, whether it be England playing, whether it be tennis, but you're always very confident, but now you're a little bit worried.
I know, but it is Spain.
Yeah, but that makes it more exciting. So don't
it's going to be a good watch. It'll be a good watch. We'll say that.
Because Spain beat Germany 1-0 last night in the other semi-final of the Euros. So in the Women's Euros, 2 years ago was the World Cup final, where Spain, I mean, let's face it, pretty much outclassed England. We'll be honest there. They did. But England beat Spain back in February.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Although Spain actually beat England as well a couple of months ago, or last month. So England were the last team to beat Spain. Am I helping in any way?
Not when you reminded us what happened a couple of months ago.
OK, fine. But anyway, I think we'll see. We'll see.
All right. The problem is...
We'll see.
The problem is England, although getting this far, which is brilliant, they've not powered through in the same way.
They haven't powered through, but what is the word? What is my magic word?
Momentum.
Momentum. It's all about momentum. So when you get to the final, this hopefully is when they are going to peak.
Well, let's hope so. It'll be a good time to peak.
Absolutely. Well, let's hope so. It's going to be Friday. It's going to be Sunday, I should say, at 5 o'clock. And it's not crackerjack. It's going to be the World Cup final. Oh, no, it's not the World Cup final. Euros final. England versus Spain, 5 o'clock on Sunday. And who knows where it's going to go. It's not a cert that Spain will only be slightly favourites. They're not going to be hot favourites. They will be slightly favourites.
OK.
Well, that helps a little
we
bit.
hold it.
OK.
So, you know, why not?
So we have a little bit of cricket?
Yes. Day one of the fourth test. It's always day one, for those that are not into cricket, that we'll find, because the tests against India have been just brilliant. The last one where England... I mean, I was on holiday and I was leaving the beach to actually go. I know this is a bad thing to
come
go
on.
and watch them because it was so exciting. England ended up winning by 22 runs, and it went right down to the wire. So day one out of the 5 is always when things start to fall into place. So England versus India, so Old Trafford. Now how about this? England won the toss and decided to bowl first. No team has ever won doing that at Old Trafford since 1884.
Oh, good.
So anyway, that's that.
The trend eventually.
We like to chase, but I mean, this is amazing. And also, the other thing is that India have terrible luck when it comes to the coin toss. So, of all matches, so it always starts off, who's going to bowl first, who's going to bat first. How many times do you think on the trot India have now lost the toss?
18.
It's not a bad guess.
Ooh.
It's not bad. 14.
Oh.
14. It's supposed to go lower, and then it'll be more impressive.
I was going to say 20.
But 14. But if you think of it, 14 times.
It's a bad luck.
What are the chances? So anyway, India are now 264 for 4, and India's Rishabh Pant. Now have a look at him. He is there. We are now. He took a ball to the foot. Now that's his right foot. There, you can guess which one it is. Which is actually as bad as it is for them, and bad as it is for India, and also for Pant. It's not bad for us, because he's a particularly good player.
No.
So we'll see whether he actually manages to get out and play for the rest of the test, but it looks like he could be out.
Rashford is going to join Barcelona.
Nothing about Barcelona. No huge unveiling, though, for Marcus Rashford, because it is a loan, which will then may become permanent. And also, he's had to take a pay cut of 15%.
Well, he kind of had to, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's only going to be on 12 million a year.
Oh, it's tough.
That's all it is.
I know.
It's
Poor
tough.
Marcus Rashford. You've got to feel for him. There he is at the unveiling. See, they often have these unveilings, especially in Spain, where, you know, they have thousands of people there.
Yeah.
You know, they'll have fireworks, they'll have some magic unveiling, but
They've just
this is all
shoved him
there
next to a
is.
mannequin.
Exactly. So I don't know whether they're just trying to keep, because they're tempering their expectations around him. But he's also, I mentioned earlier, the first English player to play at Barcelona for 39 years. That was Gary Lineker.
Oh, wow.
He was the last one.
Has he learned Spanish, do we know?
You know what? He didn't speak Spanish in the press conference,
Yeah.
which often is a very good thing to start with. But we'll see.
Well, he's got time.
He's got plenty of time.
He
We've got a
doesn't
year.
look very happy.
He doesn't know.
Yeah.
I'll say that much.
But, you know, well, he's second pay cut.
What we
Poor lad. Poor lad. All right, Paul, thank you. We'll see you a little bit later on.
OK.
Thank you. Now, do stick with us. Still to come, we'll be going through the papers with Alex Armstrong and Penny Smith. Morning, you two. But first, if you're in search of some holiday sun, here's where the sun is shining throughout Europe.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries. All sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
If you're off on your holidays this week, let's take a look at the weather across Europe. So, particularly hot for Italy and Greece, but further west, particularly windy for the Canary Islands and down the western coast of Portugal and in particularly the southwestern part of the Mediterranean. Thunderstorms for southeastern Spain, across France and northern Italy, but it's southern Italy and Greece that will be looking particularly hot, warmer than usual, and that heat is likely to last into the weekend.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
Good afternoon, Britain. Weekdays from midday.
Good afternoon, Britain. A cheerful Lollipop man's signature high fives have been stopped in their tracks.
Oh dear. Well, Neil Cotton, believed by local children... sorry. I'll start that all over again. This is a chap called Neil Cotton, and he's beloved by local kids in Howden, East Yorkshire. And he's been told by the council to stop the friendly high-fiving gesture, all in the name of health and safety.
But many parents and motorists are calling it nonsense. No surprises there. So apparently this chap, 57 years old, he spent the last 2 years brightening up the school run in the East Yorkshire town of Howden. There he is, looks like a nice guy, doesn't he? He has a cheerful attitude. He has his signature high fives. The children love it, the parents love it, he loves it. But no, the council says, get on with your job and stop the high fives.
This is the one area of employment where the councillor's trying to chivvy people on and get them to work harder rather than less hard. But I mean, what have we done in this country where we've sort of abandoned our sense of whimsy? I think adding a sense of whimsy to all jobs, I think, is a fundamental productivity measure, actually. I think if you're enjoying what you're doing, you're going to be doing it better. People are going to go into school or away from school with a smile on their face. What a joyful thing in a town in Yorkshire. I mean, amazing, brilliant. And yet, no, of course, the clipboards have to come out and the dour library monitor style individuals. I bet they're all library monitors at school. They've just got to tell people that they can't have fun.
Yeah, so the children have to be shooed along. They can't be distracted by such frivolities as a high five.
GB News, the People's Channel.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates, 5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5. You got me. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight.
On the unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
6:47, time for the papers this morning with GB News presenter Alex Armstrong and the broadcaster Penny Smith. Good morning to you.
Morning,
Alex, let's start with the Telegraph. What's our top story this morning? Police saying they're not ready for the potential, at least, of a summer of unrest.
Yeah, and is it any surprise to anybody that they're not prepared? We never are for these massive crises in this country. It's just we just sort of muddle through it, don't we?
But it's a crisis we shouldn't have to be having.
Well, of course, but unfortunately, you know, given the situation the country's in and has been in for many, many years now, with the illegal migrant crisis continuing on, with living standards falling, people are getting to a stage where they don't know what to be angry at anymore. I think they're almost angry at everything. But of course, it doesn't help that the peak number of police officers is dropping. It's down by about 10,000 from 67,000 in 2023 to 58,000 in 2025. Now, the government have pledged multiple times that your local policing is coming back, and they said you'll start to see the results of that next year. I am dubious, because every time a government has told me more police are on the way, they don't ever seem to show up, do they?
In fact, last time round, under the Conservatives, they went up by 20,000.
Yeah, but then there was other ways that the things were, other areas of the police that were cut as well. So there's always this sort of moving around. Are we going to have them local? Are we going to have more bobbies out? Are they going to be more administrative? We just saw the Royal Parks Police were cut in London. So I think people just... People won't believe it until they see it.
I think it's also that lies, damn lies and statistics that we heard about. So when you say, yes, it went up under the Conservatives, well, it also went so far down that actually it went up, but only as much as a comparison to the last one. And this is the problem with all of those things. And I do think that actually law and order and seeing bobbies on the beat... When was the last time, genuinely, that you walked along a street and went, "There's a copper"?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Yeah. Also, when I was driving the other day, and I was thinking, do you know what? When I first passed my test, it was not unusual to go past a cop car. Now, you know, at which point I suddenly thought, you know, oh, did I remember to get that brake light fixed, or did I do that, or whatever else? But it certainly made everybody drive better. And now, again, all you ever see is sometimes you see a car, one of the speed things parked on the side, and that's the only time you see anybody.
Or them flying past you on the way to a crime.
Yeah. Exactly. You know? And so I think, and I know that there's a lot of cybercrime around now and people are being diverted and everything else, but honestly, it does feel like, and if there's nobody around, I mean, the pavements are full of people cycling on them when they shouldn't be, people cycling through red traffic lights and everything else, and nothing seems to get challenged. Every time you go on public transport, there's somebody who's leaping over a barrier or pushing through it, and nobody gets stopped. And that contributes to this feeling that this febrile atmosphere of kind of, oh, well, you know, nobody's going to stop me. People going into shops and just going out with a whole brazen.
I mean, people can see it in their neighbourhoods, can't they? They can see it on their high streets, as you say. But going into coffee shops, you see people just coming in and helping themselves. Or if you haven't had your phone stolen or a car stolen off your drive, you will more than likely be called up by the police and just given a crime reference number.
Well, yeah, we know that it's ridiculously low amount of car theft and theft in general is solved now. Shoplifting, I think, in London is up almost 50% because obviously the police just don't have the capacity to worry about it, do they? They really don't. But also it doesn't help that confidence in the police and respect towards the police is at an all-time low as well. So these criminals have been
respect
emboldened.
and authority, though, in general.
Yes, I think you're absolutely right.
And it doesn't help when people, when there is an absolute truth and then there's lots of people shouting fake news. So, which doesn't help either.
Doesn't help at all.
Penny, let's have a look, shall we, at the Sun front page this morning.
Front page.
And it's about the Britannia Hotel in Canary Wharf, isn't it?
Yes, this is the Britannia International, which boasts superb views over London, being ready for asylum seekers. And this is... I mean, again, this is the problem of, you know, if we're going to take in asylum seekers, then we have to put them somewhere. We can't just give them a tent and say camp on the street, because people would be annoyed about that. So we have to put them somewhere. And this is a hotel which they've managed to, the government has managed to sort of sort it out. So I think they're only paying £81. But if you were going to go and, if you were as a holiday maker, you'd be paying quite a lot of money. There are also suggestions that they're going to be swimming in a pool and various other things. They're not. They've closed. They're closing those parts. Indoor pool and sauna thought to have been shut down, etc. But the problem is with all of these things, and nobody. Let me just tell you, nobody would want to live for a long time in a hotel. I mean, just one room. You know, OK, yes, luxury. No matter how you describe it, essentially it is a room with a bed in it and. Etc. And you've got to put them somewhere. So what are you going to do?
It's the optics, though, isn't it? When people can't get housing, when people have been on waiting lists for such a long time, and they see what they would say is a luxury hotel in London.
Exactly that. But as I said, I mean, you'd look at the other side, well, where are you supposed to put everybody? I mean, what we need to do, I think, and there's been a lot of... I'm sure you've talked about it endlessly, but we need to... you know, actually, I do wonder if we should actually have ID cards, because if you have ID cards and therefore you can't access the welfare system unless you have an ID card, you can't access anything unless you have an ID card, you can't work unless you have an ID card. If we had that, you would actually stop the fact that people are coming here because it's easy to work in the black market, it's easy to work and to access benefits.
A lot of people don't like ID cards, but I think it might just end up being a necessary evil.
And yes, and it's weird how they sort of give all their details if there's free Wi-Fi.
Well, that's true. I tell you what, I don't understand. The Home Office response to all of this, Penny, says we're making strong strides to deliver a more sustainable and cost-effective asylum system and accommodation system. This includes ending the use of hotels. Testing new locally led models.
I know,
what does that mean?
Well, because that's what they're trying to do, but they need things right now. That's the problem. They need things right now, and that what they're doing is putting something in place just in case, so that they don't have to scramble around. The more you scramble around at the last minute, the more you're going to have to pay. Whereas they're thinking ahead and going, we can get this for this X amount of money, which means we won't have to actually pay extortionate amounts to put people in these places.
The problem is people are not going to be happy whatever happens here. No. Because once they go out of hotels, where do they go next? They go into private homes. And then you're still going to get that same sense of, why is this is so unfair on me? I might be homeless, I might be on a housing waiting list. Why am I at the back of the queue? Why did they appear at the front of the queue? And that is not going to go away.
Alex, Penny, thank you very much.
Right, let's have a quick look at the weather for you with Amy.
Expect a warm front, moving from the kitchen right through to the rest of the house. Boxed Boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Hello and welcome to your latest GB News weather update from the Met Office. Dry with sunny spells for many across the UK, but it will be a particularly wet day for those in eastern parts of England, and there'll be further rain arriving from the west later on as well. There's that area of rain arriving into Lincolnshire, into parts of East Anglia and then into London as we head later on through the morning. But for much of the UK, there'll be plenty of dry and bright spells with this frontal system arriving later on in towards the evening. Temperatures, again, are going to be around 18 to 20 degrees across the far north, warmest in the south, 24 or 25 for southern Wales and southern England. But underneath this cloud and with this rain and with this North Sea coastal breeze, it'll probably be feeling a little bit chillier across the far southeast of England. Here we can see temperatures around 18 degrees or so. Warmer though for Devon and Cornwall, and plenty of sunshine here. Wales seeing a nice day as well. Cumbria and for parts of western Scotland who saw quite a damp day on Wednesday, there'll be plenty more sunshine as well. Further north though, for parts of Shetland, there'll be some showers coming through as we head through the day as well. Through the rest of Thursday then, so that rain that was affecting London in the southeast will slowly start to move away as we head into the overnight period, and there will be lots of dry spells around, but this frontal system will be slowly and steadily moving eastwards as we head in towards Friday morning, arriving and giving some mild conditions, 14 to 16. Coolest temperatures will be in central parts in rural locations as well. But across the central parts of England, and particularly the southeast, will be a dry and bright start to the day on Friday. Further west, though, that frontal system, weakening as it moves eastwards, will introduce some further cloud and some quite rainy and drizzly conditions. Over high grounds of Wales, it could be quite murky as well there. Cooler across the far north, 17 to 20 degrees, but the warmth in London around 28 degrees.
A positive outlook through the night will power through to a bright day ahead. Boxed Home Battery Storage, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. No access to the A723 in Motherwell from the M74 southbound at Junction 6 off slip due to planned maintenance. Drivers should follow the signed diversion route and allow extra travel time. The M4 is closed in both directions from Junction 37 Pyle to Junction 39 Groves for construction, with diversions in place. Windsor and Maidenhead face a blockage on the M4 eastbound between Junction 8 and Junction 7 because of a broken down vehicle, closing one of 4 lanes. And on the trains, Hull Trains is running a reduced service due to industrial action, while ScotRail faces disruptions between Stirling and Perth. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
£54,321 cash could be yours. Cash that you could spend however you like. It's like having an extra £1,000 each week for a whole year to play with. Someone is guaranteed to win this amazing amount of cash, so make sure that someone could be you. For another chance to win £54,321 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB14 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Good morning. Police warn a summer of unrest could cause untold damage.
Public anger mounts as it's revealed that thousands of asylum seekers are using taxpayers' money to gamble.
Protests break out near a 4-star hotel that's set to house asylum seekers in Canary Wharf this summer.
Is this the start of a summer of civil disorder?
Also today, the countdown's on to President Trump's arrival in Scotland, but police warn they're not prepared for the visit, as officers are sent to fill security gaps last minute.
MPs from across the divide unite to demand that the government does more to tackle pensioner poverty.
NHS patients warned of devastating delays as resident doctors push on with their 5-day strike, which starts tomorrow.
School's out and many of us are heading off on our summer holidays. We'll be debating if it's selfish for parents to jet off without the kids, so don't miss that in about 20 minutes' time.
And sport this morning, will the Lionesses now know who they'll be playing in the World... Well, I should say they will be playing the World Champion Spain in the final of the Euros. That's this Sunday, after they beat Germany 1-0 after extra time last night. Marcus Rashford's become the first Englishman to sign for Barcelona since Gary Lineker back in 1933. And 1 year to go until the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. Finny the mascot has been unveiled.
A fairly settled day for much of the UK, but there will be some areas of rain moving in. Find out about weather in your area with me later on.
Just gone 7 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast. Now, would you ever order a glass of wine and then not finish it? Well, you don't drink, so that's...
No, but in my drinking days, no.
You'd always finish your drink?
Always.
Sometimes a pint maybe be left, but
Really?
a glass of wine's not that big, so usually I'll finish that.
Why? What's happening?
Gen Z, we know they're very sensible and they don't like drinking.
Oh, dear.
Apparently, you know, time for a swift one, apparently Gen Z only ever really have one. And a lot of the time, they'd actually leave some behind in the glass. They're like a few sips.
What, so do you want to go out for a drink and
Yeah,
then
and
have
they
a drink?
A drink. Or half a glass, it would seem. Almost 42% say they never have more than one glass of wine. 39% say they'd actually leave some of their wine in the glass. Just
friend
if you want a
of
little
mine,
taste.
friend of mine, his daughter, it was her 18th birthday party, and so he had loads of. He thought, OK, I'll get loads of beers in for everybody, and loads of drinks. So anyway, he's got all these beers in, and these young lads are coming up, and he's going, "Oh, you're a beer," and they go, "Well, no, I don't drink that. I'm working out. I've got to have... What's the calories? What's this?"
Yes.
What's happened to the world?
Interesting you say that. 75% of Gen Z believe that they are living a healthier lifestyle than the generations that went before. So it is a wellness thing.
Absolutely true. I guess it's OK. But it's a lot different to how it used to be.
We shouldn't... In a way, we shouldn't criticise them for it, but part of me thinks...
Well, they're following your example.
Well, yeah, but I drank at that age. I mean, a bit too much, really. But I sort of think, why don't they have a bit of fun?
Yeah.
They don't know what they're missing out on.
Because I've got to look great. That's the most important thing. But are you having fun looking great?
They're not going to look great. They're still not going to look great when they're 70.
No.
You get older.
No, they need to go out and have fun.
Yeah. I sort of
be in the
think they
pubs
should.
and go to clubs. They don't even do that, though, really, do they?
You don't have to go totally mad. You don't have to go as mad as we did, but still let your hair down a bit.
What do they do for fun?
They go to the gym.
Oh, is that what it is?
They do. They go to the gym.
Oh. Are your two like that? No.
Sorry?
Are your two like that? Or
No, not really.
They're fun.
But they've got friends who are... Well, you want to go... Well, got to be at the gym, so 6 o'clock, and then I'll be maybe after that.
Yeah. Yeah, but your idea of a good time is to go to Pilates.
I do like going to Pilates, but I also love a gin.
You do?
And a
Well,
wine.
that's true.
Best of both worlds. Work hard, play hard.
Do you have gym while you're doing your Pilates?
Yeah.
It's the perfect afternoon, isn't it?
You have to be able to do both, a little bit of both.
Oh, I don't do any of the gym or any of that sort of stuff. I used to, but not anymore.
It's all about balance, isn't it?
I need to do something a bit more exciting. What about paddle? Maybe we should take up paddle.
Oh, that's what everyone's doing now, aren't
Everybody's
they?
doing paddle. It's like the paddle tennis thing.
It's a bit like squash, isn't it? But
Yeah, and tennis, and it's like everybody's doing that now. That's the in thing.
I love
That's
it when
the
there's
in
a
thing.
trend I've never even heard of.
I know. Well,
Paddle.
we'll get involved. We'll have a game of paddle.
I thought it was padel.
I know. Hyacinth bouquet over there. Is this Padel?
Is that like a microwave?
Microwave. I honestly thought it was padel.
But there are people that call it padel. Oh, we're going to play padel. No, you're not. You're playing paddle.
But guys, this is like when I said Ascot, it said Ascot. And then you were laughing at me saying it's Ascot, and then Google tells me otherwise.
Well, you say tomato, and I say tomato.
Tomato.
Let's call the whole
Anyway, so padel it is.
Padel. Well, if you play padel, tell us what it is,
Yes,
please. I've no
with
idea.
your potato.
Oh, Paul, you better get out while you still can.
I know.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I can't move.
OK.
Right, let's have a look at our top story this morning. Police have admitted they're not prepared for a repeat of last summer's protests.
Well, as officers are deployed to keep the peace outside a four-star hotel in London that is reportedly preparing to welcome asylum seekers this summer.
Well, the rise in tensions won't be helped by a Daily Mail exclusive today that says thousands of migrants are using taxpayer handouts. They get about £50 a week on a bank card, and they're going to casinos and betting shops.
So, is this the start of a summer of unrest? And if so, why hasn't more been done to tackle the public's concerns about immigration before it got to this point?
Let's talk to former Conservative advisor Charlie Rowley. I mean, it just seems we have reached tipping point here, Charlie.
It does. There's certainly a feel, and that's evident through the protests that we're seeing in Epping, in Hampshire, and now around Canary Wharf in London. So it's alive, and we've got to be alive to that civil unrest, that civil disobedience. And if the police, frankly, aren't even prepared for a Donald Trump visit, what on earth are they prepared for? Because it doesn't take much to work out that there is tension in communities. There is particular tensions around particular areas where there are people who have come into the country that are being housed in accommodation, who are claiming to be asylum seekers, when I think the vast majority, from what you just see in the newspapers, front pages, day after day, are not. And the government has got to get its message across that it is either dealing with the processing in super quick time, that it is deporting people that shouldn't be in the country, that it's got its returns agreements up and running. But it's, why are there so many people being housed? Why people are in our hotels? It shouldn't take long to work out that if you turn up at a UK border, even if you are claiming to be seeking refuge or if you're seeking asylum, but if you can't state your name, your age, the country you've come from, the conflicts you're fleeing, then I'm afraid you've got no hope. There's no chance. You shouldn't just be housed. And then the process takes sometimes up to 2 years before the Home Office gets round to processing it. That simply isn't right. That simply isn't fair. And the longer this goes on, the more people that you see, particularly over the summer months, where people will be crossing that Channel crossing, as happens every year, those numbers go up. Tensions will just, I fear, continue to rise.
And that anger and that frustration from people is not going to be helped by the likes of the front page of the Daily Mail this morning. This exclusive that asylum seekers are gambling with government prepaid cards that they're given. So they're given £50 a week on a card, and over 6,000 migrants have used these in betting shops and casinos in the past year.
And this is the point, and this is where, if you're sitting in Number 10 now, if you're a political advisor, if you're part of the operations in Number 10, you've got to get this message through to the Prime Minister. What does it speak about our country at the minute, where you might have veterans that have served this country that are still sleeping rough? What does it say about maybe the single parent working 3 or 4 jobs just to try to make ends meet? What does it say about people who have had their wages cut in real terms because we've got debts to pay because of COVID and the economy isn't growing? What does it say to all of those hard-working people, day in, day out, that are just trying to make ends meet, when on the other hand, you see people that come into the country illegally, that get free accommodation, free healthcare, £50 a week, their dentistry and their medical treatments paid for, sorted on the NHS, on the back of the taxpayer, or even a free house in local authority responsibility. That is a two-tier Britain. And this two-tier Keir, which must annoy the Prime Minister, it certainly annoy me, that penetrates, that cuts through to public opinion. And when these stories add up day after day, when there's more and more people that come into this country, that's why there's so much anger out there, and that's why the government have got to get a grip.
There's also a real danger here for anyone who is feeling very... I mean, you've got a right to feel disillusioned and angry by all of this, and you've got a right to protest in this country. the problem is frustration is growing in such a way that it is going beyond that line. Well, that's when people who may have a legitimate protest, a legitimate grievance, actually end up being on the wrong side of the law.
Yeah, and this is where, the Prime Minister, I think, now has to be very clear that people have a right to protest, whether you're protesting in favour of accepting more people into the country. There'll be a lot of people that think that we should be taking more people. Now, I'm not of that view. I'm pretty sure a lot of the viewers and most people in the UK won't be of that view. But there'll be certainly a lot of people who therefore want to protest that we're doing far too much or that we've done enough and we've got to get a grip of the situation. People are entitled to protest. There will always be people on the fringes that take it too far. Those people need to be, I think, very quickly removed from the situation to diffuse tensions. But you've got to allow those protests to take place. What doesn't help the situation is when the Prime Minister of the country, as he did last year, use sweeping statements as if, if you take part in a protest that is anti-immigration or anti-asylum or people coming into this country you've got a problem with, then you're part of a far-right bandwagon. That language really matters, and it upsets people because it feels as though that the state, the government, isn't reflecting the views of people who have been annoyed for a very long time, who feel that they haven't been able to speak out in the past on not just immigration, but it's things like the rape gang scandal, where you can't talk about particular communities through fear of being branded a racist. That should all be done away with. You have to be clear about our communications. We should be allowing protests to take place, but it doesn't help if the government is squashing debate rather than allowing it to flourish and allowing peaceful protests to take place, not living in a two-tier policing system, as what is perceived in many cases, and getting on top of those bad actors, but understanding the issue at heart and dealing with it.
OK. Charlie, thank you very much indeed. Good to see you this morning.
Well, in response to the hotel in Canary Wharf that's set to house asylum seekers this summer, the Home Office has said that the government is making strong strides to deliver a more sustainable and cost-effective asylum accommodation system. This includes ending the use of hotels, testing new locally led models and working closely with local authorities and other departments to ensure a fairer, more efficient approach.
Well, that hotel falls within Tower Hamlets. The council there has said, we are aware of the government's decision to use the Britannia Hotel in Canary Wharf to provide temporary accommodation for asylum seekers.
Now, at 12 minutes past 7, a cross-party group of MPs has come together to urge the government to do more to help pensioners living in poverty.
They also want more action taken to confront the fact that Britain has an ageing population, a dilemma that is set to intensify over the next decade.
Well, let's speak now to the coordinator for the End Fuel Poverty Coalition, Simon Francis, who joins us now. And it's stark, isn't it, Simon? I was just looking at some of the figures here. That the number of people of pension age living in relative poverty is up to 1.9 million, or 16% of pensioners.
Yeah, and what we know is that even more pensioners are struggling. So 3.2 million pensioner households simply can't afford their energy bills. Almost 1 million pensioner households are in deep fuel poverty, struggling to keep the lights on, to keep themselves warm every winter. And that's why the recommendations in the report are right. We need to see a long-term consensus about how we deal with pensioner poverty, and we need to sort of set out a plan to eradicate it. And that needs to look not just at this winter, last winter, but also looking into the future, so that we can all approach retirement with a sense of certainty about our living standards.
I mean, this report from the Work and Pensions Committee says the government needs a national strategy. OK, fair enough. But should also decide on and ensure a minimum level of retirement income. How does it go about that?
Well, I think that's the big question, isn't it? And I think as well, not only does it need to think about an income, but it needs to think about the expenditure. So as we said, we need to look at what is the cost of energy and what is the cost of energy going to be in the future. How can we set in place price controls so that we're not paying too much for energy? How do we deal with the fact that of all of the gas that was ever available in the North Sea, just 14% of it is left for extraction? So at some point that is going to run out. By 2050 we'll be almost entirely reliant on imports for our gas, and we need to think away, what's that going to do for prices? So we need to look at all of these things and think about income, think about expenditure, and think about where we need to target support for pensioners to help them make the right decisions, to improve their homes, to upgrade their heating systems, knowing, of course, that for some of these pensioners, those are long-term investments, and they may not feel like they're able to make those investments, and they may need support from the state. But we could take that action now so that pensioners in the future are not going to be living in cold, damp homes.
Yeah, and there's such an impact, isn't there? If you are living in poverty, it has an impact on your health as well, which in turn is then, you know, a big strain on the NHS.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, sadly, what we know is that, hundreds of older people, more older people died last winter than in the winter before, simply because some of them will be unable to heat their homes and keep themselves warm. So there's a huge impact, not just in terms of public health, but as you say, on the cost to the NHS. And we know this, living in cold, damp homes costs the NHS billions every year. So again, when we're looking at this long-term strategy, we need to see the government working across the government. It's not just a work and pensions issue. It's not just an energy issue. It's not just a health issue. We need to see the government come together as a whole and really set out a long-term approach that sets that minimum income standard, but also reflects the fact that prices of essentials are going to change.
Do we need to scrap pension credit, at least as an opt-in system? Because, I mean, it's worth about £4,000 a year to some people, and yet not much more than half of people who are eligible even claim it.
Well, I think the big scandal from one of the big parts of the winter fuel payment scandal last year was revealing that the pension credit system just simply isn't being taken up by the people who need it the most. And one of the big concerns that we have with the system is this cliff edge. This was the really big problem last winter, where if you were just £1 over the pension credit limit, you didn't get any of those benefits, and you didn't get the winter fuel payment either. And I think that sort of a more tapered approach would be a better way of helping ensure that we don't have this cliff edge whereby a lot of people who are really struggling are also missing out on support.
OK. Simon Francis, thank you for talking to us this morning.
Yeah, if you've got thoughts on that, particularly if you find yourself in that position, gbnews.com/your say. I mean, I've for a long time been concerned about pension credit. Because, yeah, great to have access to more money if you're entitled. But so many people either don't know they're entitled or feel embarrassed to claim.
Yeah.
It needs to be provided without you having to opt in.
It's a proud generation, isn't it?
Yeah, and understandably so.
Yeah.
But, people are missing out on money they are entitled to, and that can't be right. That needs to be addressed. Anyway, let us know what you think.
Now, it's 17 minutes past 7. Let's get a check on the weather with Amy.
Even though we'll see a cloudy start, it'll be a bright outlook for the rest of the day. Boxed Solar, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Hello and welcome to your latest GB News weather update from the Met Office. Dry with sunny spells for many across the UK, but it will be a particularly wet day for those in eastern parts of England, and there'll be further rain arriving from the west later on as well. There's that area of rain arriving into Lincolnshire, into parts of East Anglia and then into London as we head later on through the morning. But for much of the UK, there'll be plenty of dry and bright spells with this frontal system arriving later on in towards the evening. Temperatures, again, are going to be around 18 to 20 degrees across the far north, warmest in the south, 24 or 25 for southern Wales and southern England. But underneath this cloud and with this rain and with this North Sea coastal breeze, it'll probably be feeling a little bit chillier across the far southeast of England. Here we can see temperatures around 18 degrees or so. Warmer though for Devon and Cornwall, and plenty of sunshine here. Wales seeing a nice day as well. Cumbria and for parts of western Scotland who saw quite a damp day on Wednesday, there'll be plenty more sunshine as well. Further north though, for parts of Shetland, there'll be some showers coming through as we head through the day as well. Through the rest of Thursday then, so that rain that was affecting London in the southeast will slowly start to move away as we head into the overnight period, and there will be lots of dry spells around, but this frontal system will be slowly and steadily moving eastwards as we head in towards Friday morning, arriving and giving some mild conditions, 14 to 16. Coolest temperatures will be in central parts in rural locations as well. But across the central parts of England, and particularly the southeast, will be a dry and bright start to the day on Friday. Further west, though, that frontal system, weakening as it moves eastwards, will introduce some further cloud and some quite rainy and drizzly conditions. Over high grounds of Wales, it could be quite murky as well there. Cooler across the far north, 17 to 20 degrees, but the warmth in London around 28 degrees.
Expect a warm front, moving from the kitchen right through to the rest of the house. Boxed boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Now do stay with us. Still to come, we're debating if it's selfish for parents to head off on a summer holiday and leave the kids at home. Let us know what you think about that one. We're going to be debating it next.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
You've read the headlines, you've heard what those in power have to say. How about now we actually get to the truth?
They would pay attention.
We go beyond the political theatre and tell you what's really going on behind the scenes. For a massive council tax hike, one of the biggest in the UK. Others follow their lines, but we go off script.
You sound like a broken record, you say that week after week.
Cutting through the narratives and giving you unique perspectives. That's Ben Leo tonight, Saturdays and Sundays from 9 p.m. on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, you didn't say that, Dave. I'm so surprised. I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
We're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
The People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Now, school is out for the summer, at last for some kids who only finished on Tuesday, but that adds pressure on parents who have to balance looking after the children with full-time work in a lot of cases.
Well, with that in mind, some parents might be looking for time away from their kids with a holiday of their own.
Oh, so we're asking, is it selfish to go on holiday without the kids?
Well, we're joined now by youth and family coach Kalini Kent and parenting and lifestyle expert Annette Kello. Morning, ladies. And Kalini, let's start with you. Is it selfish for parents to go on holiday without their children?
Good morning, everybody. I think it's important to consider that when you consider the hours that a child is with their parents is not as long as we think. They have got extracurricular activities, they're at school most of the day. So when it comes to quality time, they're not actually getting a lot with their parents. So if you think about the quality of time they get together, it's so important that they have that time together when it's downtime in the holidays. They get the emotional support, the emotional impact on them is great. And I think generally it gives a better bonding with the whole family and the relationship. They get a chance to actually enjoy quality time, doing things together and having fun. And I think that if we look at it from a positive perspective, it can be seen as very, very selfish to actually just go away with them. What about that child saying to you, Mummy, why are you leaving me alone? Why are you not taking me with you? It's quite an emotive thing, and it's really important that we think that, you know, we can actually take them away with us and have fun, have enjoyment. Despite the fact that you might think it's good for your mental well-being, it's really important, that bonding time, to actually play, have fun, go and do things together and enjoy each other's company.
Family should come first then, Annette, should it?
Well, you know what they say, happy mummy, happy baby. And actually, if we look at the stats, this isn't the 1950s anymore. Mums are working full time. They're doing 65% more childcare, 60% of the household labour, where they're doing, you know, cleaning and cooking. And, you know, it all gets a bit much. So I personally think there's nothing wrong with having a little bit of me time. I know parents at school that have done it. My mum and dad used to do it quite a lot, actually. We'd go to my granny's. We'd have a great time. We were bonding with my granny. So it wasn't like we were with strangers or anything. And I myself have gone off and had a little bit of champagne and fabulous time. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. We're not talking to do it all the time, dropping your kids, you know, every minute and going off somewhere. But just a little bit of time helps. And actually a hotel chain has launched like a national me time day, because some mums just like to have a day off. They go to a hotel, even in the UK, because they just want to get some sleep.
And Cleanie, that's a good point, isn't it? I mean, you might be a better parent if you've had a little bit of a rest, a little bit of time away.
Absolutely, but there are different ways of doing it. Why not take the children with you? There are so many hotels now which cater for children's activities. So you still get that downtime, you still get that time away and quality me time and have the bubbly and the champagne and go to the spa, but the child is also still there with you and you still spend time with them at different times. The other thing to bear in mind, there are 19.4 million families in this country, and 50% of them are both parents working. That's a lot of juggling. So if you think about the actual quality time, so many parents are saying that they feel the guilt because they're not able to spend the time with their children. When they're with them, they're fraught. As you've said, they can be, you know, they're doing all of the housework as well as juggling their careers. So it's really important that we think that, can we actually, when we're with them, let's have that downtime. Let's have that quality time. That leads to a much better family relationships and dynamics. It can then give time and quality time to, if you've got more than one child as well, you're having their emotional needs met. And that's the important thing. It's not just physical needs here, it's emotional needs that need to be met for that child, as well as the parents enjoying their quality time with them.
Annette, is there an age point here? I mean, I can understand 14, 15, 16-year-olds who may not want to go away with their parents anyway and could be sort of quite happily left behind. I mean, would you be happy to do it with children younger than that, maybe even children younger than 10?
Yes, well, I think as well we have to look, obviously teenagers don't want to be going away with their parents. I remember being left on my own quite a lot. But also the other part of it is a lot of women feel like they don't have a village these days. They don't always have people to rely on like they would have maybe in yesteryear. So they kind of need a bit of that downtime on their own. I think we also need to look at parent carers as well. There are 1 million people in the UK with disabled children, which is a huge pressure. There's also the sandwich generation, where people are also caring for elderly parents too, because people are having children later in life. Therefore, they're having so much pressure. So just 1 or 2 nights away, or 3 or 4 even, why not? It's not going to hurt anybody, and you still get to bond with your child. I mean, our summer holidays are super long. We've got all summer holidays to bond.
OK, ladies, we're out of time with you this morning, but thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. And let us know your thoughts as well, gbnews.com/yoursay. I don't know, I feel like I'm not a parent, but I can imagine a break is a good thing. It looks quite intense.
Yes, but it's about building the family bonds, isn't it? I mean, when they get to teenagers, is a different kettle of fish. But younger than that, I don't know. I don't think I'd be comfortable.
You'd be
with
taking
it.
your children everywhere.
If I had any.
Yeah.
I would be.
Well, let us know what you think. gbnews.com/, you'll say.
Right. Just 2 weeks, in fact, less than 2 weeks now remaining in our Great British giveaway. It's our biggest ever cash prize of £54,321. It could all be yours. Here's how.
£54,321 in tax-free cash really could be yours. But what's it like to be a big Great British giveaway winner?
I'm Paul from Sheffield. I was the winner of a very nice motorhome and £5,000 in cash off GB News. Yeah, he just pinged up money in, 5,000, and I'm like, wow, I have actually won this competition. It has changed my life. It's given me stability and it's given me something to look forward to. Anybody can win. I never thought I was going to win, and I did. So thank you, GB News.
Lines close on the 1st of August, so make sure you don't miss out. For another chance to win, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB14 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The M77 is facing restrictions northbound at Junction 5 due to a road traffic incident. Drivers should use caution and anticipate longer journey times as they navigate this area. The M4 remains closed in both directions between Junction 37 at Pyle and Junction 39 at Groves. Construction work is causing disruptions and diversions are in place. On the trains, Hull Trains is operating a reduced service due to ongoing industrial action, and ScotRail faces disruptions between Stirling and Perth. Stay informed as you travel, especially through impacted regions, and stay up to date with any changes to your intended route. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes and Kerr weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Dawdney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk
No,
now?
that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I ever got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Welcome back to Breakfast. It's sports time. Paul Coyte is here with us. Morning.
Morning.
Should we talk about last night? We now know who we're going to be facing in the final.
We are.
Euros.
Spain beat Germany. Went to extra time.
Yep.
So, if you're not really worried about that game, it's really what happens after that, which is now the Euros final, which England, the Lionesses, will play.
That's Sunday.
Spain, yeah, 5 o'clock on Sunday.
Right.
So Spain, who beat England in the World Cup final, although since then we've played them once and won.
And we beat them.
But they beat us last time. So it's in the balance. I'm a little worried about it, but it could go either way. Not that I do cliches being a sports person.
No.
It's a game of two halves.
Oh, stop it.
I'd be sick as a parrot should we lose, but we'll see how things go. 5 o'clock Sunday. Other things, Marcus Rashford has signed for Barcelona. I mean, this is a great move, isn't it? I mean, it really is a dream move. To go to Barcelona, first Englishman to play for Barcelona since Gary Lineker, which was nearly 40 years ago.
Well, it was a pipe dream, really, wasn't it? I mean, how did
I
he
thought it
pull
was.
it off?
I did. I really thought it was. And then he went to Aston Villa on loan, so he's waiting for this to come off. So it is a loan to Barcelona. He's had to take a pay cut, so he's only going to earn 12 million quid a year. Poor Marcus. You've got to feel for him. Anyway, you thought it didn't look like a terribly joyous affair.
He doesn't look terribly happy.
Right.
And he hasn't learnt Spanish, has he? Because a lot of them do learn Spanish for the press conference.
Well, let's hear what he had to say. Maybe he does speak Spanish in this. This is Marcus Rashford yesterday.
I want to win the biggest trophies, and I feel like Barcelona, the club, is obviously a huge club in the football world. So it's the perfect place to go and win the biggest trophies. They have a very young team, ambitious team, and I want to come here and add my qualities, my personality, and try to improve the team and help them win.
Oh no Spanish there then.
No.
No.
Probably something.
There's
just say
still time.
something in Spanish.
Yeah,
but anything. But because they've all do that. But it was a bit, wasn't it? It was a bit.
Are you not buying into this, really?
I'm not sure. See, it could be make or break for Marcus Rashford. It's a great move. Whether it's going to work for him, he's a good footballer. Yeah. He just hasn't shown it recently. So we'll see how it goes. Tennis. I want to mention tennis.
Yes.
Umberto Ferrara.
That name rings a bell.
Does it really?
Yes. Why does that name ring a bell?
Umberto Ferrara is the coach of Yannick Sinner. Where he's the fitness coach, or was the fitness coach.
It was after the drugs thing and got booted, didn't it?
Correct. So when he got done for Clostebol, which is the anabolic steroid, do you remember how it landed on him? It was in the massage, you remember?
Yes.
So apparently he was the one that had this spray. I've got this wonderful spray. Put it on your hand if you've got a cut. Gave it to the physio. This is the story. Believe it if you like. So anyway, the physio rubbed it on his hands and then started doing the massage. That's the way he does it. Did the massage on Yannick Sinner. Then the Clostebol got into Sinner's system. So then Sinner blamed the physio and blamed the fitness coach, and they were both given the elbow, but now the fitness coach is back again.
Right.
Does that make any sense?
Yes, it does.
It does, perfect.
But it also seems slightly suspicioso.
It does seem a little suspicioso, doesn't it?
It does, a little bit.
Can we talk about a unicorn called Finney?
What?
Yes. Commonwealth Games. Glasgow 2026, it's 1 year until the Commonwealth Games. I worry for the Commonwealth Games because I don't really think it has that excitement that it used to have. There's so much sport on TV. The Olympics, yes. The Commonwealth Games, do people have that excitement about it as much as they used to?
I don't think they do, really.
I don't know whether they do, but anyway, the mascot, Finney, has been revealed. Can we see Finney, the mascot?
Right.
That's Finney there. Now, it's named after the Finnieston area of the city of Glasgow. It's a unicorn. Obviously, you can tell. The horn, well, when we see Finney's horn, hopefully in just a second...
It's a traffic cone.
It is a traffic cone because those art fans in Glasgow will know that the Duke of Wellington statue outside the Gallery of Modern Art has a traffic cone instead on his head. So that's what they've used as the horn. So 1 year to go. Finney is described as fun, cool and sassy.
Oh.
Sassy. Really?
Yeah. That's
I like
what the three of
Finney's
us
name.
often called you.
I think it's a good
In
name.
what order, I'm not sure.
Of course, what people may not know, and I didn't know until recently, is the unicorn is the national animal of Scotland.
Right. which is the reason it appears on the coat of arms, I guess.
Well, exactly, yeah. It is. I mean, we have lions. They have a unicorn.
We've got a lion.
You don't see many unicorns around these days,
You
do
don't. Not
as many as you used to back in the old days. The silver flash on her shoes represents shipbuilding.
Really?
And the Glasgow coat of arms on Finney's earring. Cool, fun and sassy.
Oh,
there you go.
Can't we come up with anything better than that?
I know.
Oh, I think it's quite cute.
Kids designed it,
Yeah,
but then
come
all
on.
the other nonsense is
Don't mock
probably
the children.
added on by the PR agencies afterwards.
Yeah.
But a year to go.
I like to be sarcastic and cynical about these things because they are blooming awful.
No.
Then when I told you that kids had designed it, then you thought...
I think you feel bad.
No, I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad. I think, why are you letting children design something?
That what used to bug me. When Blue Peter used to have a designer logo for something, it was always the rubbish ones that like a 3-year-old had designed because they felt sorry for them and it wasn't the best one.
Yeah, exactly.
So there you go, Finney.
Exactly. You're rubbish. Get out.
Thanks, Cordy.
That's a little strong, but there you go.
Do stay with us. Still to come, we'll be going through the papers with Alex Armstrong and Penny Smith. Morning, you two. But first, if you're in search of some holiday sun, here's where the sun is shining throughout Europe.
Can't wait to get in that sea.
Lovely and warm.
Just like the feeling of having great travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
If you're off on your holidays this week, let's take a look at the weather across Europe. So, particularly hot for Italy and Greece, but further west, particularly windy for the Canary Islands and down the western coast of Portugal and in particularly the southwestern part of the Mediterranean. Thunderstorms for southeastern Spain, across France and northern Italy, but it's southern Italy and Greece that will be looking particularly hot, warmer than usual, and that heat is likely to last into the weekend.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Britain was once the envy of the world, but look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
Patrick Christie's Tonight, weekdays from 9 p.m.
Should we be paying more for the BBC, do you think?
Yes, in the short term. It's for a cost of a cappuccino a week. You don't only get all the television channels, you get all the radio channels, local news, you get the websites, you get World Service, a significant amount of that. You've got a vast range of things. It's not just a television licence. And the BBC licence fee, in real terms, has gone down about 40% in 15 years. What I think we need is two things. One is an immediate increase, significant increase, so we stabilise the situation.
Go on, how much, Roger? What's the fee? Go on.
Hold on.
Well, tell me how much.
Then, secondly, hold on. We need to have a proper debate publicly about whether we want public service broadcasting, how we want to deliver it, and how we want to pay for it. The BBC has cut as much as it can. We should now have a public debate about what we want.
OK. All right, the BBC's cut as much as it can. I mean, grief. I would love to try to see the BBC try to operate on the kind of budget.
I thought you were chairman, objective chairman here. It was a head-to-head with this lady, and you were going to be an objective chairman.
Yeah, well, you decided not to answer any of my questions. But anyway, June, I'll put this one to you. Well, what do you think about the money?
Yes.
June, what do you think about the money being paid for the BBC? Should we pay more?
In 2020, you lost 80, let's have a look, 80,000. And then by 2023 to 24, that went up to 500,000 licence fees not being paid. That's because they don't want the product. A lot of the reason is the bias side of the news, which is why people watch GB News. The programme making, I can understand the creative part of it, but what you've got to look at from the public's point of view is they pay their licence whether they're using all those facilities or not.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Join me, Nana Okoye, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
We're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day.
bulletins here on GB News, the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
7:44, time for the papers with Alex Armstrong and Penny Smith. Morning again, you two.
Good morning.
Penny, can we have a look at asylum seekers gambling using our money?
I know. This is on the front page of the Mail. In the past year, more than 6,000 migrants used government-issued cards loaded with £50 a week at betting shops and casinos. I mean, the thing is that... whenever you look at stories like this and anything that says taxpayer cash, you could kind of pretty much put anything at the top of there about the fact that, you know, we don't agree with, you know, for example, if you're on social security, people get very annoyed if people on social security spend their money on drink and fags or sort of anything else, or gambling or whatever else, because actually, you know, we just want to go and police them and make them sure that they're buying fruit and vegetables and organic meat. But, you know, all I would say is, you know, it's like we come back to the same thing about the asylum seekers. They are seeking asylum. Some people, you know, the reason that quite a lot of people do actually seek asylum and get asylum is because they are running away from war and famine and being persecuted and everything else and deserve to have a place. The problem is whenever it gets out of hand and when it seems to be... and when everybody else is struggling. I tell you what, these stories wouldn't be here if everybody wasn't feeling so stressed about everything, about the fact that their wages haven't gone up and then they see other people getting money, it seems, money for free. And it's...
And there's like, I mean, I always feel, because I think you're right, if it was people on benefits who are gambling as well, I'd feel the same anger at it, because what it feels like is that why do I bother working? People sit at home and go, I work my backside off, I'm taxed out of my backside, and now I'm giving it to these people who aren't doing anything, and they come in, they're getting freebies. I think the simple solution to this is that if you're going to have government benefits in some way, you should be restricted on what you can use to pay for things. That would take the outrage away. And I think there's lots of really good solutions out there. You know, pre-made cards that only allow you to shop at certain places and buy certain things.
What I don't understand with this story is why the government can't seem to oversee these transactions, see that they're being used in gambling shops and block the card.
No, neither do I. Neither do I. I don't understand. But then again, you look at you look at how our civil service is run, and I think you then start to wonder, they can't even keep the data under control in the civil service. We're leaking left, right and centre like a faulty tap. And so I think then you realise, actually, the government isn't as sophisticated as it should be.
Yeah.
Well, that's one way of putting it.
I'm being quite nice this morning.
At least the United Nations is being sensible, according to the Telegraph. Excellent organisation has now given the green light for Britain to be sued over climate change.
It is absolutely balmy. These people are off their rockers. They really are. I mean, look, this country has done and spent billions and billions of pounds on the transition to green energy. We are one of the leading countries in the world, yet now countries like us in the West, which it will be, are being targeted by the ICJ, the International Court of Justice, of course. Again, the same court that basically told us we must get rid of Chagos, and we bowed into that, are now basically paving the way for lots of developing nations to sue us over climate change. And it is absolutely preposterous that Britain should be forced to pay more money over when we're doing everything we possibly can, and people are poorer as a result of net zero, at least, that we would now be sued over climate change, of which we contribute less than 1% of global emissions. I think it is absolutely bonkers. Absolutely bonkers.
Interestingly, there's a story in The Guardian actually today about Labour being urged to create more green jobs or risk losing voters to reform. And they're talking about the GMB General Secretary saying people need to see real jobs created where they live and their local economy boosted, or we're going to see more and more tempted by the siren calls of those who deny the reality of climate change. It's got a picture of solar panels, and I don't know, am I the only person who just, every time I see that there's another massive, great load of land being turned over to solar panels, my heart sinks, and I just think, because the environmental, you know, the environmental damage that they do to so much. I mean, soil erosion, apart from anything else, you know, you've got growing land suddenly covered in these things. Some of them fry birds that are flying over.
They cost a fortune as well.
Costs a fortune. And if you recall, I know it's been sunny and we're all under drought conditions, but if you remember, it did rain pretty much for 17 years, it felt like, earlier this year, didn't it? You know, and so we are surrounded. We are a nation. We are very lucky. We're surrounded by sea. Wave power, when you look at the damage that waves do, the power in those waves... Why are we not harnessing the power of waves? Then there'll be people saying about fish. But anyway...
Well, on top of that as well, nuclear has become so safe and so efficient now. Why can't we just do more of it? I think, how many has France got now?
Yeah, the French have got it.
Well, they were talking about micro-reactors not that long ago, and that seems to have disappeared.
Yes.
But even if you just built a couple more, we could literally be a self-sufficient country when it comes to energy, but we just don't invest. I'm glad the government have invested in Sizewell C, and that's been approved, because we should have been doing that.
Yes, but when we are building... I mean, I agree. I think there should be more of them. But the problem is, when we are building them, they seem to be being funded by China.
Well,
Yes.
Again, that's another bonkers thing that happens in this country.
Well, we sell things off, don't we? We're very good at selling things off. They're really successful. We should have them. We should have the benefit of them. And then suddenly they're bought by someone else.
Mad.
Alex, let's have a look at the Times front page, shall we, this morning? Hit striking doctors in the pocket, says an NHS chief.
Yeah, I don't know whether this is good. This is an outgoing NHS chief, because they are chief of NHS England, right? And I believe NHS England was being scrapped. Am I right? And
but this is
a different Quango or different Quang. One of the
keep up.
One of the, I can't keep up. Well, I can't keep up.
NHS England is. This is the head of the NHS.
Oh right, sorry, I beg your pardon. I thought it was the head of NHS England.
No.
Anyway. Regardless of wherever he works, he thinks the only way to solve this crisis is to basically punish doctors who strike and say, if you strike, you should be the ones paying for that. You're not going to get your overtime, for example, right? Now, listen, I have some sympathy with our doctors in this country.
Do you?
I really do, because I think they are underpaid compared to many other countries around the world. We are losing them to places like Australia, and I have some sympathy with the hours they work. I've got doctors and nurses in my family, and I do think we need to be doing more for them.
Except that their pension, what it never comes into this thing, does it, is the enormous golden pensions that they have. So there needs to be a bit of give and take. Oh,
no, carry on, please. Carry on. No, please.
Because because that was the point, isn't it? Is the fact that, you know, whilst you talk about how little they do get paid, and it is true that in some cases they're being paid less than, I don't know, people on the sort of 0 hours contracts and everything. You are looking ahead to, there are very few places now where anybody works where you get a really decent pension.
And they get it.
And as one gets to a certain age and starts looking at the pensions and everything, you know, you do think, oh, if only I'd done a few more jobs with decent pensions.
Oh, yeah. And doctors are the ones who benefit a lot from that. So there's got to be some give and take. I think that's the reality. And we need to keep these younger doctors, because they are the ones who are going to be looking after our NHS. So I would rather we keep them and look at the pension system for doctors who are getting very, very good pensions, and try and keep the youth. And otherwise we have to bring people in abroad, and we know how people feel about that these days.
All right, Penny, let's have a look at Chester Zoo and a baby snow leopard.
Yes, shall we all do the noise?
Oh.
Do we need any more?
No, that's right. Here's a video of it. Oh, wow. I mean, it just looks like a sort of little pussycat.
It does look like a little cat.
Oh, and there's Mum dragging it in by the scruff of its neck.
Yes, these are critically endangered animals, and the idea that in the past, and actually probably still now, that they're hunted for their skins, and you know, they're such beautiful animals, and we need more of them in the wild. But of course, you know, habitat, climate change, etc., etc., etc.
But this is a nice thing about zoos nowadays, is they are these incredible conservation things.
Yes, it's funny, isn't it? Because they've now changed the way that they operate, and they are now saving species. And the zoos nowadays, compared to when I was young, going to a zoo where you just go and stand and there'd be this kind of concrete thing with some bars and then some poor sad animals. But, you know, it was still very exciting because, of course, you know, never seen a giraffe in the flesh. Goodness, how very tall, etc., etc. Whereas now we're all about rescuing and moving forward. I think, do you know what? I think we'd all be happier if these pictures were just beamed live everywhere where you get stressed. You know, if they said your train's been, you've got,
it's a great idea.
Replacement
or in airports,
buses,
yeah.
Airports, replacement buses are coming in, or sorry, they've all lost your bags. And then in the distance, pictures of little snow leopards and wiggling their excellent tail. Look at that tail.
Yeah, then the next on the news, asylum seekers spending thousands of pounds and gambling your money away.
We'll just sit.
Stick to the snow leopards, I
Snow
think.
leopards. All right, you two, thank you very much. We'll see you later.
Let's get a check on the weather with Amy.
Heavy showers first thing will be followed by a warm, cosy day. Boxed Boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Hello and welcome to your latest GB News weather update from the Met Office. Dry with sunny spells for many across the UK, but it will be a particularly wet day for those in eastern parts of England, and there'll be further rain arriving from the west later on as well. There's that area of rain arriving into Lincolnshire, into parts of East Anglia and then into London as we head later on through the morning. But for much of the UK, there'll be plenty of dry and bright spells with this frontal system arriving later on in towards the evening. Temperatures, again, are going to be around 18 to 20 degrees across the far north, warmest in the south, 24 or 25 for southern Wales and southern England. But underneath this cloud and with this rain and with this North Sea coastal breeze, it'll probably be feeling a little bit chillier across the far southeast of England. Here we can see temperatures around 18 degrees or so. Warmer though for Devon and Cornwall, and plenty of sunshine here. Wales seeing a nice day as well. Cumbria and for parts of western Scotland who saw quite a damp day on Wednesday, there'll be plenty more sunshine as well. Further north though, for parts of Shetland, there'll be some showers coming through as we head through the day as well. Through the rest of Thursday then, so that rain that was affecting London in the southeast will slowly start to move away as we head into the overnight period, and there will be lots of dry spells around, but this frontal system will be slowly and steadily moving eastwards as we head in towards Friday morning, arriving and giving some mild conditions, 14 to 16. Coolest temperatures will be in central parts in rural locations as well. But across the central parts of England, and particularly the southeast, will be a dry and bright start to the day on Friday. Further west, though, that frontal system, weakening as it moves eastwards, will introduce some further cloud and some quite rainy and drizzly conditions. Over high grounds of Wales, it could be quite murky as well there. Cooler across the far north, 17 to 20 degrees, but the warmth in London around 28 degrees.
There will be a light breeze in the morning, leading to a warm front. Boxed Heat Pumps, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The M4 is shut both directions from junction 37 Pyle to junction 39 Grows due to construction, with diversions in place. On the roads in Lancashire, the A585 southbound between the A586 and the junction with the M55 is congested, causing 10-minute delays. In Birmingham, a road traffic collision on the M6 southbound between junction 6 and junction 5 has led to one-lane closure. Drivers in Bedfordshire face delays on the A421 southbound at the M1 junction 13 due to a collision. And on the trains, Hull Trains is operating a reduced service due to industrial action. Stay safe out there, and for more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Imagine having an extra £1,000 to spend each week for an entire year. £54,321 in tax-free cash could be yours. Cash to spend however you like. £54,321 in cash could be landing in your bank account this year. For another chance to win £54,321 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB14 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30am.
Only on GB News.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off-limits. You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it. That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless. But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show. Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good morning. Police warn a summer of unrest, which is in the offing, could cause untold damage.
Public anger mounts as it's revealed that thousands of asylum seekers are using taxpayer money to gamble.
Well, protests break out near a four-star hotel in London that's set to house asylum seekers this summer.
Is this the start of a summer of civil disorder?
Well, the police are worried. Number 10 is worried. How are we going to deal with this unrest potentially this summer, and how did it get to this point?
The countdown is on to President Trump's arrival in Scotland, but police say they're not prepared for the visit, as officers are sent to fill security gaps at the last minute.
MPs from across the divide unite to demand that the government does more to tackle pensioner poverty.
NHS patients are warned of devastating delays as resident doctors push on with their 5-day strike, due to start tomorrow.
And in the sport this morning, Lionesses now know they'll be playing Spain in the final of the Euros on Sunday after they beat Germany 1-0 after extra time last night. In cricket, England just about edged day one of the fourth test against India. And being the official GB News sports, pastimes and fashion host, we will look at the strangest football kit ever produced.
A fairly settled day for much of the UK, but there will be some areas of rain moving in. Find out about weather in your area with me later on.
Just gone 8 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast.
We love a good tattoo, don't we?
Well, you like a good tattoo.
I do.
You're covered in them. You wouldn't know that about Stephen. Actually, that's what everyone said to me at the wedding. They were so surprised how tattooed up you are.
Wow.
Were you topless at the wedding?
Topless.
At the free-flowing rosé pool party.
Oh, really?
Oh, I was there.
Is it an expensive thing, a tattoo?
No, if you get it done right.
So if I go for the full sleeve, how much is that going to cost me? I've got quite short arms.
Cost you a fair few hundred quid. That.
OK.
But if you need a decent tattoo artist... But there's a fella in the papers who's got a good tattoo artist, isn't there?
He does, yeah. He has the cipher of the Queen on his thigh. No, on his calf, sorry. On his calf.
Thigh.
Phil Smith, he's 61, he's from Northampton. He pulled up his shorts when he met the Queen the other day at the Sandringham Flower Show, wanted to show off his latest royal inking. Because it's not the first, you know, he also has Queen Elizabeth's cipher on his calf as well.
Yeah. I can't find the picture. There's a lovely picture of the Queen looking at it and really smiling.
So where is it? It's on his calf?
No. So he's got Queen Elizabeth's at the bottom. Then he's got the King's cipher on his sort of calf, and then Camilla's cipher, and then his new one is at the top, which is on his thigh, which is the joint cipher of Charles and Camilla.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he showed the Queen, who couldn't stop laughing.
She loved it.
Absolutely hilarious.
Did she really?
Yeah. Well, you would, wouldn't you?
And he did say it was very painful.
Well, it would be.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So there you go.
Are they very painful?
And then he said...
Depends where you have them.
Yeah. Which I quite like. We just hit it off, he said. Yeah. When they were discussing tattoos. Isn't that nice?
She might have a little
It's nothing like trying to impress someone than if you got a tattoo of them when you show it to them.
Well, exactly.
You know, it's always an icebreaker, don't you think?
I think so.
Definitely an icebreaker. I don't know whether you'd be complimented or whether you'd be offended. But...
Yeah.
Well, just surprised.
Freaked out.
Anyway,
Surprised.
look, we need to crack on, we're being told, Paul.
OK.
Honestly, it's problematic. And that's because police have admitted they're not prepared for a repeat of last summer's protests.
Yes, as officers are deployed to keep the peace outside a four-star hotel in London that is reportedly preparing to welcome asylum seekers.
Rising tensions not helped by a Daily Mail exclusive that reveals this morning thousands of migrants are getting taxpayer handouts. And, well, we knew that, but they're using them, some 6,000 of them, at casinos and betting shops.
So, is this the start of a summer of unrest? Well, let's speak now to Matt Vickers, the Deputy Conservative Chairman. Very good morning to you this morning, Mr Vickers.
Good morning.
And shall we start with, this admission, the stark admission from the police that they are not ready for a potential summer of unrest?
So one of the main reasons they won't be ready for any potential summer, I don't like the idea that we're talking up and expecting one and making lots of noise and suggesting it should happen, but I think one of the reasons they won't be prepared is because under the last government we got to record numbers of police on our streets. The big news yesterday was the police workforce numbers came out and the number of police on our streets has gone down. It's fell by 1,316. We said this would happen when the budget came out and when our police forces got slammed with that national insurance increase. They're literally taxing the police off our streets and it will have real consequences in all sorts of situations, particularly in what might come this summer if what they're saying does happen.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're quite right that when you left office, numbers were at their highest level. I think it was 147,700 full-time equivalent police officers. But that was after years. I mean, you brought them back up, but you slashed them in the first place.
They were higher than ever, so we put 20,000, after I was elected, we put 20,000 more police on the streets. That is literally the highest number ever. And we don't want to be going backwards on police, we want to be going forwards. We should be adding more police. But this government, we told them what would happen, and it's already down 1,316. Less police on the streets in communities like mine and yours. That has real consequences, particularly what they're saying might happen this summer.
What's your reaction to the scenes that we've seen in Epping, the scenes we've seen in Canary Wharf? Nigel Farage warning that there is a potential for a summer of unrest.
I think the thing is there's two sides to this story. One is you've got individuals turn up from here, there and everywhere with extreme views who just come in to cause trouble. And they have to be treated very differently from real people who are concerned about what's going on in their community, who have the right to protest. And you've got to separate the two out very clearly. There's got to be real consequences and sanctions for people who bring about violence in those communities. But the reality is that the people who lose out, the cost of this violence, of people who turn up and have a, punch up in the street and create all sorts of chaos, the consequences are felt by those communities, because not only are they dealing with whatever's gone on by way of these hotels and trying to protest about it, it's the elderly people who daren't go out at night because they know this stuff's happening in their community in a way it never has. It's the businesses that have to shut their doors early, take the financial hit, be afraid to open and do business, and people can't go to work. There are real consequences to that sort of violence on our streets. We don't want to see it, but at the same time, people should have the right to protest over what is a terrible situation. Some of the incidents that are suggested to have happened with some of these migrants are appalling.
Well, yeah, I mean, as you say, no one wants to encourage violence. It shouldn't happen. It's not the right thing to do. However, we have reached a point in this country, haven't we, where ordinary working people have reached their limit. And nobody seems to be acknowledging that, at least not in any practical way, which is going to make any change.
Well, I think there is an acknowledgement of it. I mean, when you look at what has happened, at one point hotels were being closed. Keir Starmer got elected and we are opening more hotels. The number of people arriving in the country hasn't gone up a little bit. It's gone up nearly 50%. 44,000 people have arrived in the country since he was elected. The thing was very bad, was unacceptably bad, and now it's on steroids. He's rolled out the red carpet. He said to people, he has changed the law in the House of Commons to say that if you arrive in this country illegally, you can become a British citizen. That's appalling, that's atrocious. We had all the fight go on to try and put the Rwanda scheme in place. I mean, the reality is if you arrive in a country illegally, if you break into this country, you have committed a crime, you should be detained and you should be removed. And until we start doing that, more and more people will continue to arrive. The easier he makes it to get British citizenship, the more people are likely to arrive. There's got to be real consequences. We've got to deter people from coming. We've got to, we talked about removing benefits for foreigners, and actually, my party put forward amendments in there to the Labour Party's Nationality and Borders Bill that would have said we would, A, deport you if you commit a crime in this country, any crime. At the moment, you've got to get a sentence of 12 months. We said, no, if you come to this country and you commit a crime, you are going, including if you arrive in the country illegally. We then said that all of the mess with Chicken Nugget Gate and the chap who couldn't be deported because he didn't like the idea of having to have a shave, ridiculous outcomes that are happening in ever-increasing numbers. We said we should disapply the Human Rights Act from those cases. We should, in cases of deportation and immigration, so these people can be removed without the frustration of the courts. Even in Greece now we're seeing this happen, where instead of letting these things go through ridiculous lengthy court cases, if you break in, you're getting sent back. That's what we need to do. That is the only way we're going to stop this problem.
Can I ask you about the Telegraph this morning that's reporting that since Kemi Badenoch became Tory party leader, 8,000 people have left the Conservative Party. And this follows two major defections. Sir Jake Berry, former Conservative chairman, defected to Reform after 14 years as a Tory MP. He says now that only Farage can fix Britain. Laura Ann Jones in Wales also defected to Reform from the Tories, saying similar. They think that Reform is their only chance of being re-elected. And if you look at the polls, they're not wrong, are they?
Do you know what? Well, our party took a grubbing in the last general election. Nobody said overnight it would be fixed. In fact, we know it won't. From history, we know it's a very tough thing when you get sent a message like that from the electorate. You've got to listen to them. You've got to go away, dust yourself down, look at what you should be offering the country. That's entirely what Kemi's doing. I think when you look at the people who've defected, most of them we probably could have took a guess, although not Jake Berry, because of course he was a reformer, so maybe it is a bit different, him going. But actually, in real terms, we're making that offer. I mean, the big dividing issue now is on benefits. We've seen it. We've seen Farage is quite happy to have uncapped benefits. He's saying we'll remove the two-child cap. The Labour Party can't do anything on welfare reform. We're saying that taxpayers deserve value for money. We want to support the people who need support, but actually we cannot allow, I mean, under this government, we've seen the number of people sign up to sickness and incapacity benefits reach 3,000 people a day. It's gone up by 50% since Labour came to office. That is unreal. That has a huge cost for taxpayers, for hard-working people, for businesses that are now being taxed out of business, the job creators who are being taxed out of all business, all investment. It's a disaster. 69,000 jobs lost in the hospitality sector recently.
Right,
really bad news for the country because people have to pay for these things.
Yeah, but what we're looking at here is momentum towards reform. And the reality is, as their polling continues to increase amongst the public, there's going to be more and more of your colleagues, aren't there, who say, well, if I do want to keep my seat in this place, I'm sitting with the wrong party.
Well, do you know what? We never underestimate the opposition, but we also don't obsess about the opposition. We're putting forward our offer to the British people. There's a hell of a long way to go. When I knock on doors and talk to people about what's happening in welfare, they're not on board with Farage's idea of uncapped benefits, of removing the two-child cap. They want us to put forward an offer. That's what we're going to do. You watch this space.
OK.
Matt Vickers, good to see you this morning. Thank you for your time.
Let's get some reaction from our political correspondent, Catherine Forster. Catherine, morning to you. What do you think?
Well, Matt Vickers very clearly laying the blame at Labour's door, but of course the Tories had 14 years. This problem grew massively under them. I thought interesting on police numbers. Yes, the Tories recruited 20,000 more police, but that was after they had cut 20,000 police during austerity. I thought it was interesting, the phrase he used about the government rolling out the red carpet for people breaking into the country illegally. And I think that's what a lot of people will think is happening. You come illegally from a safe country, you are put up in a hotel. We've seen the Britannia Hotel in London, a 4-star hotel, now being readied for migrants. New mattresses being brought in, pink lady apples I've seen being taken into these places. Pink lady apples are very expensive, as anyone will know. And then this incredibly worrying story now on the front page of the Mail that these prepaid cards, asylum seekers get 50 quid a week that they can spend. There's been over 6,000 incidents of them being used in gambling settings, and I think that will make a lot of people very, very angry indeed. Will that spill over into unrest in the summer? That's the worry. More unrest.
OK, Catherine, thank you.
Well, in response to the hotel in Canary Wharf that's set to house asylum seekers, the Home Office has said that the government is making strong strides to deliver a more sustainable and cost-effective asylum accommodation system. This includes ending the use of hotels, testing new locally led models, and working closely with local authorities and other departments to ensure a fairer, more efficient approach.
We've also got a statement from Tower Hamlets Council, where that hotel in London is, which doesn't actually tell us a great deal at all. It's a bit pointless, frankly. It says, we are aware of the government's decision to use the Britannia Hotel in Canary Wharf to provide temporary accommodation for asylum seekers.
Now, 14 minutes past 8, a cross-party group of MPs has come together to urge the government to do more to help pensioners living in poverty.
They also want more action taken to confront the fact that Britain has an ageing population, a dilemma that's only going to intensify.
Well, Head of Public Affairs at Marie Curie, Toby North, joins us now. Very good morning to you, Toby. And this is a huge issue that I'm sure many people don't even realise.
Good morning. Absolutely. At Marie Curie, the UK's leading end-of-life charity, we're really concerned about the financial strain that many terminally ill pensioners are under. Our Dying in Poverty research that we published last year found that 88,000 pensioners, that's more than 1 in 7, spend the last year of their life in poverty. And that's a higher rate of poverty than those who are not at the end of life, other pensioners.
Right. So, how do we even begin to tackle that?
Well, we welcome many of the recommendations and the findings from this Work and Pension Select Committee report, but we also think there needs to be a really specific focus from government on providing additional support for terminally ill people, because the last months, weeks and days of life should be a time to focus on what really matters, making memories with loved ones and living well for as long as you can. Nobody should spend that precious time worrying about how they're going to make ends meet, but we hear from Marie Curie nurses who are going into people's homes all through the day and night at the end of life, and all too often they're going into homes that are damp and they're cold because people can't afford to put the heating on, or even where people are breathless because they're worried about the energy costs of putting their oxygen machine on. That's a disgrace in this day and age, so we need some really targeted action to support terminally ill pensioners in that position.
And it does have impact across the board, doesn't it? I mean, as you say, if you're living in a damp home, if you are not able to heat your home, or you're not able to put food on your table, well, that then impacts on your health, and that in turn will have a cost impact on the NHS and health and social care.
Absolutely. Not giving people the financial support they need at the end of life could be heaping loads of additional pressure on NHS. We know that being cold can affect worsen health. It can cause respiratory problems. It can increase the risk of heart attack. That can cause higher rates of admission to hospital as well as readmissions if someone's discharged into a cold home and their recovery stalls as a result. That's just not what we need at a time when our NHS is under huge pressure.
But through the research that Marie Curie has done, I mean, are you aware of what sort of money would be needed to try to settle this situation, to bring... I mean, it's not about anything extravagant, is it? It's about bringing those people at end of life just up to a normal level of living, a normal level of heating and accommodation.
Absolutely, and we're calling on the government to make sure that all people living with a terminal illness have enough income to live their life comfortably until the very end. Part of that could be achieved through encouraging the uptake of existing benefits that people are already entitled to, like pension credit. But there's also some additional tweaks that we would like to see, things like attendance allowance. If you have a serious condition, you have to have it for 6 months before you're able to access attendance allowance. We're saying that anyone with any terminal diagnosis should be able to access that support immediately.
Yeah, well, if they've got that diagnosis, then yes, absolutely, it makes complete sense, doesn't it, to be honest. Toby, really good to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed. I mean, I'm aware there will be some people watching and listening going, well, this is all about taking more money. It's going to cost more money at a time when supposedly they're meant to be cutting back on benefits. But it's about removing benefits from people who shouldn't really be getting them.
Don't need them, yeah.
To make sure that those people who do, I mean, particularly the end-of-life care, like that they are getting what they need.
Yeah, well, it needs to be clear, doesn't it, as well, what you're entitled to. Because there's a lot of people that don't take up their pension credit when they're able to, and they don't know about it, or they're too proud to.
About 700,000 people, they reckon, are entitled to it, and only about 60-odd% claim it.
Yes, that's a lot of people struggling when they potentially don't need to be. Anyway, let us know what you think on that one. gbnews.com/you'll say.
Right, should we have a look at the weather for you? Here's Amy.
Expect a warm front, moving from the kitchen right through to the rest of the house. Boxed boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Hello and welcome to your latest GB News weather update from the Met Office. Dry with sunny spells for many across the UK, but it will be a particularly wet day for those in eastern parts of England, and there'll be further rain arriving from the west later on as well. There's that area of rain arriving into Lincolnshire, into parts of East Anglia and then into London as we head later on through the morning. But for much of the UK, there'll be plenty of dry and bright spells with this frontal system arriving later on in towards the evening. Temperatures, again, are going to be around 18 to 20 degrees across the far north, warmest in the south, 24 or 25 for southern Wales and southern England. But underneath this cloud and with this rain and with this North Sea coastal breeze, it'll probably be feeling a little bit chillier across the far southeast of England. Here we can see temperatures around 18 degrees or so. Warmer though for Devon and Cornwall, and plenty of sunshine here. Wales seeing a nice day as well. Cumbria and for parts of western Scotland who saw quite a damp day on Wednesday, there'll be plenty more sunshine as well. Further north though, for parts of Shetland, there'll be some showers coming through as we head through the day as well. Through the rest of Thursday then, so that rain that was affecting London in the southeast will slowly start to move away as we head into the overnight period, and there will be lots of dry spells around, but this frontal system will be slowly and steadily moving eastwards as we head in towards Friday morning, arriving and giving some mild conditions, 14 to 16. Coolest temperatures will be in central parts in rural locations as well. But across the central parts of England, and particularly the southeast, will be a dry and a bright start to the day on Friday. Further west, though, that frontal system, weakening as it moves eastwards, will introduce some further cloud and some quite rainy and drizzly conditions. Over high grounds of Wales, it could be quite murky as well there. Cooler across the far north, 17 to 20 degrees, but the warmth in London around 28 degrees.
A positive outlook through the night will power through to a bright day ahead. Boxed home battery storage, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Now, do stay with us. Still to come, we've got a treat for you. GB News regular and friend of the show, Susan Holder, joins us to discuss her new book, inspired by the country music icon Dolly Parton. That's next.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates, 5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight.
On the unpredictable.
What does she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
The Camilla Tominey Show, Sunday mornings from 9:30.
She left office 35 years ago, which seems incredible.
God, that makes me feel really old. I remember being at school when she was deposed.
Oh, that makes me feel really old, because I was way beyond school.
Well, I was 47 yesterday, so...
Well, happy birthday.
Thank you. Carry on.
Well, so there are 3 generations that have grown up that weren't alive when Margaret Thatcher was Prime Minister. And there are so many myths that have built up about her that... and part of the reason I wrote it was because my personal trainer, I broke my hip 2 years ago.
Yes.
So I had to get a personal trainer to the rehab. And he's 25, or was then. And when he found out what I did for a living, he said, well, Margaret Thatcher, I've heard of her, but who was she? What did she do? He didn't even know she'd been Prime Minister. And I was like slightly horrified by this. So this is really aimed at those generations. You can't tell every aspect of her life in a book that size, but it really is an introduction to her. And the first sentence says, if you've read Charles Moore's 3-volume biography of her, please stop here. This book is not for you.
No.
So
it's an
it covers most of the
introduction to her.
Things.
And by the way, maybe that revelation by your PT does ask questions about the national curriculum and history teaching. They should do a section, shouldn't they, on our first female Prime Minister, arguably. But what's the challenge then when you're writing somebody's life up? I mean, and what a life she led.
Well, I found out that it's much more difficult to write a short book than a long book, because you really do have to be concise. I was told I had 30,000 words. I said, well, that's a pamphlet, not a book. So I stretched it to 45,000. But normally a biography would be 120, 150,000 words. So it really was quite a challenge to condense it all. And what do you leave out? I mean, I wasn't going to do a chapter on Northern Ireland, but as I was writing it, I thought, no, you can't do that.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
Now, just 2 weeks remaining until our biggest Great British giveaway comes to an end, and someone will win. Stop looking at me like that. I'll get my words out in the end. Somebody will win £54,000, 320.
You're doing really well with this. Should we try again?
£54,321.
Just that.
In tax-free cash.
Here are all of the details that you need.
There's just 2 weeks left to see how you can win our biggest cash prize so far. £54,321 in tax-free cash is up for grabs in our summer Great British giveaway. Cash to spend on anything you like. All of that cash could send you on a holiday, boost your savings, or just send some of those day-to-day financial stresses packing. Lines close on the 1st of August, so make sure you don't miss out. For another chance to win, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB14 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Now, I'm very bad. The only time that I actually do any reading that isn't work reading, so we do a lot of reading every day, is by the pool on holiday.
It's not a bad thing to do. I won't feel bad about that.
Yeah. Well, if you're on the hunt for a perfect poolside read this summer, we might have just the thing.
Yes, as you will know, our regular Susan Holder began her career as a newspaper journalist. She wrote for regional and national stuff before becoming, actually quite recently, an accomplished author.
Well, Susan has now released her 3rd novel, and here it is, What Would Dolly Do?
Susan's here. Good morning.
Hello.
You've got a penchant for
We're on the sofa.
We're on the sofa. I know, it's a treat for you.
Yeah, I like it. I'm not usually allowed on the sofa.
It's nice, isn't it?
So this is book number 3.
Yeah.
You've done Elvis, you've done Paul McCartney.
Yeah, so they're romantic comedies with a musical twist. So like when you go and see a rom-com movie, it's got a great soundtrack. I've kind of woven a bit of music and the kind of things that people get into because of the music they love.
Yeah.
So my first one had a bit of a Beatles theme set in Liverpool. My second one went to Graceland and Memphis, the home of Elvis. But this one is called What Would Dolly Do? And obviously Dolly Parton. When I was coming to the 3rd one, I had to do a female artist and Dolly was the obvious.
If you're having a soundtrack, I'd say you cannot beat Dolly Parton.
You can't, but also...
The woman is a legend.
Everyone loves Dolly.
Everyone loves Dolly, and whether it's 9 to 5 or Jolene or whatever you like about it, but also, and how I've used her in the book, really, because it's not about Dolly, it's about a Dolly Parton impersonator who is so terrified of the stage. She's got stage fright, but she's a great singer and she loves to perform, but she can only get through it by performing as Dolly Parton. Yeah. That's her armour to face the world. And what I've used is kind of Dolly's example of how to live, all the witty kind of Dollyisms that she comes out with. Find out who you are and do it on purpose, stuff like that, to kind of help the leading lady in the book motivate herself to find her own look, her own voice and her own success in Nashville. So it starts in Edinburgh and it ends up in Nashville.
Yeah, and as part of your process of writing the book, you actually saw inspiration in Nashville.
I did.
Research trips.
So I went to. I was on the hunt for Dolly. I didn't find the real Dolly, but I found some kind of Dolly imagery around, and yeah, we kind of got the feel for the place, which every time I write a book, I really like to kind of set it somewhere that I've been. I don't kind of write about anywhere that's real that I haven't been. That's the journalism coming out.
It's good.
And I like to do my research. So it really does take you to Nashville. If you've been there, it should kind of take you back there. If you haven't been, it should take you there. So the honky-tonk bars and the kind of feel and of Nashville and the music and everything is all in the book as well. Obviously, it's a rom-com, so a handsome country music star may swagger into the storyline at some point to help things move along. But it's been such fun to write, and I want it to be as much fun to read as it was to write, because it was really, really fun to write.
Well, the nice thing about Dolly Parton, from what I know of her, is that she is actually incredibly positive.
Well, she is.
And self-confident and determined.
Well, she knew who she wanted to be from a very early age, and that's where I think the book speaks to. And this is why I was about a third of the way through before I realised why I was writing it in a way, because Dolly decided very small that she knew she could sing. She was dirt poor, lived in a shack. 12 kids, they had nothing, but she could sing.
Got a great story.
But she saw this woman in the local town who was all made up with lots of makeup, blonde hair, high heels, long hair, and she thought it was the most glamorous thing she'd ever seen, and she went, that's what I want to look like. People advised her later on, well, no, the woman's no good, she's kind of trash. Dolly was like, no, I want to be trash when I got... It's glamour, that's what I want. A lot of us find it takes a long time to find out who you want to be in life, I think, sometimes. But for women particularly, I think you go through different phases in your life. And one of Dolly's phrases is, find out who you are and do it on purpose. And I was about a third of the way through before I realised I've really changed. I mean, like you say, I was a journalist, I was a real backroom girl. It's only in the last few years that I've put myself... I didn't even have a photographer at my wedding.
Wow.
That's how much I hated being visible. But when I started writing books, my husband, noddy holder, so he knows what it's like. He knows what it's like to be out there. He went, well, you've got to get out there. You've got to go out. And there's no point writing good books if you don't tell people that they exist. And actually, it was coming on GB News that really kind of changed my life in some ways, because I came and did an interview with you and Anne, and after that, they asked me if I wanted to do newspaper reviewing and stuff, and I started doing more TV. I'm now, I still kind of have that crisis of confidence everybody has, but I've also learned to get over myself a bit.
Good, well, I think that makes me entitled to at least 20% of all the take.
She's bought you a copy.
That copy will have to do for now.
Talking of legends, can we talk about Ozzy?
Yeah.
Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I don't know if you ever came across him, but not, I mean, Noddy certainly did.
Yeah, Nod's known him for years, and they're very close. So it's just devastating, and it was such a shock, even though we knew, obviously, how difficult he was finding things. I have met him a couple of times, and when I've met him, you just remember how much you laugh. He's just hilarious. But it was a shock, and all I can say is that how fantastic, what a kind of exit he's had after that huge concert, with everybody coming and telling him how much they mean to him, all those people chanting his name. We were in Birmingham actually last week, and everywhere in Birmingham has got Black Sabbath and Ozzy imagery all around. There's exhibitions and pictures and the Black Sabbath band. It just feels so amazing that's happened at this time.
But that's why it's such a shock. I mean, so we knew he wasn't well, but the fact he just had this incredible concert, farewell concert, I mean, 5th of July...
And raised £190 million for charity. All of the money went to charity.
And then suddenly gone. I mean, I read the headlines and thought, I can't believe this.
No, well, it has been devastating and a shock.
And he was a proud Brummy boy, wasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely, very proud of Birmingham. And to do all that in Birmingham, where he came from. But for Sharon and the family, it's just devastating.
Yeah, and of course, we're all thinking of them, aren't we?
He certainly went out on a high.
Definitely.
He did, and it's poetic to think of it like that.
I suppose so, yeah.
Susan, where can people find this book?
Yes, so it's anywhere that you get your books, you can order it. If it's not on the shelf, any bookshop can have it, because it's published by HarperCollins, but whether you shop at Amazon or Waterstones or WH Smith's, it's there. It's paperback and ebook. There will be an audiobook coming, but probably not until the autumn.
Who's going to voice that, you?
No, it won't be me. It'll be somebody who can do it, because the leading lady is Scottish. So it might be somebody who can do a Scottish accent.
Good stuff. Well, congratulations.
Thanks,
good. And thanks for my copy.
Love it. Brilliant, Susan. Thank you. Now, if you are travelling to work this morning, here's your traffic and travel update.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the M42 southbound in Warwickshire, a collision between junction 9 and 8 has closed 3 out of 4 lanes, causing delays up to 1 hour. Normal conditions are expected after 10 this morning. In Bedfordshire, the A421 southbound at its junction with M1 junction 13 has lane closures due to an incident, with regular conditions expected by 10:30. Devon drivers note a broken down vehicle on the A38 westbound between the M5 and the A382 is causing a lane closure. And on the trains, Hull Trains is running a reduced service due to industrial action. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
So apparently Molly Holder read this whole book in one sitting.
Sorry, you've got in the way of our excellent reading this morning. We're going to be back with all the sport and Paul Coyte in just a minute. Don't go away for a second.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You've read the headlines, you've heard what those in power have to say. How about now we actually get to the truth?
They would pay attention.
We go beyond the political theatre and tell you what's really going on behind the scenes. For a massive council tax hike, one of the biggest in the UK. Others follow their lines, but we go off script.
You sound like a broken record, just like week after week.
Cutting through the narratives and giving you unique perspectives. That's Ben Leo tonight, Saturdays and Sundays from 9 p.m. on GB News, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power?
Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber.
Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics.
We'll see where this ruling takes us.
These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
It's Patrick Christie's Tonight, and here we do things differently.
It's explaining the absolute madness of this, doesn't it?
It's explosive.
I mean, this is very good.
It's lively.
850. Your government sat there short and it did nothing.
It's controversial.
And the Middle East has been in turmoil since before I was born.
It's everything you need to kickstart your evening.
Everyone's had their Weetabix tonight. I love to see it.
That's Patrick Christie's Tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/your say. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/your say, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Paul's here with all the sport. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, madam.
Let's talk football. It's not so much about what happened last night. It's what we know is now going to happen on Sunday.
That's exactly right. Sunday, then, the Euros final will be England versus Spain. Spain managed to beat Germany. That went to extra time as well. They won 1-0. So it's another replay of the World Cup final from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So 5 o'clock Sunday.
We'd like a different result, though.
Yes, we would.
Lionesses, what do you think, then? Because I know Ellie, for the first time, which I'm a little bit worried about, is not as confident as you usually.
But it's because they beat us in the World Cup.
Is that what it is?
Spain is a good team.
They are. But then again, when the Lionesses play, as they should,
Yeah.
we should be too.
Yeah.
So the final...
It's all to play for.
It is. You know what? That's exactly what it is. It's all to play for.
Yeah.
Cricket, first day of the fourth test yesterday. First day is always... It's almost like the sizing up of the two sides, you know? It just takes a little while to get going. England versus India at Old Trafford. So England won the toss, 264 for 4. And as I did mention, at Old Trafford, anybody that wins the toss and decides to bowl first never wins.
Right.
Ever.
Excellent.
1884. Since the first one, nobody has ever done this. So why you... Well, there you go. That's Bazball. So we may... It works for us always to chase. So...
Yeah. Oh, well.
1884.
There you go. I do not understand this.
Right, far away.
There is a new Forest Green Rovers kit, which is vegan.
It is vegan, because Dale Vince, the owner of Forest Green Rovers, vegan, and it's a vegan, all-vegan club.
Are they going to eat it?
No.
What? I don't understand.
I don't understand why it's a vegan kit, but all I know is it's probably one of the worst kits I've ever seen.
Oh.
Have a look at that.
It is. Look at that. Awful.
Oh, look at that.
It's like a lime
green leopard print.
Yes.
That's the home kit. But the thing is...
That's awful.
Football kits, I guess, change with the fashion, don't they?
Oh, yeah, that's not fashion.
Fashion, I know, but then, yeah, I mean, you know, unless you're Pat Butcher, I suppose. That's going back. But what about... I think she plays centre-back for Forest Green Rovers this year. But anyway, have we got the away kit? I don't think we've got the away one, which is the pink one as well. Do we have that too?
No,
I'm not sure whether we do.
Worse.
You know what? Oh, no, it's been deemed too offensive to even see.
It's fuchsia pink.
Yes.
But is that also leopard print?
Yes.
It's leopard print as well. It's leopard print.
What is wrong with these people?
It's to go with the vegan animal... I don't know.
It's inspired by nature.
Inspired by nature?
Yeah, the leopard print.
Well, leopards.
Yes.
I mean,
is that the nature?
I can't see that flying off the shelves so much.
I don't know. I don't think so. You know, some overweight sort of 60-year-old football fan in a leopard skin... I'm not sure.
No.
Not sure. I've got some other ones, though, from the old days.
Oh, yeah, go on
Some other shirts. Some of my favourite old shirts.
Right. Oh.
What do you think about this one? This is 18... Now, look, he looks very handsome, doesn't he? So there we are. If you look very closely, you can see lots of different pictures in that shirt. That's 1860 Munich from 2010. It was their 150th anniversary. And that's just pictures of the history of the club in the shirt.
It almost looks marbled.
Or tie-dye.
Yeah, it looks like that from a distance, but they're actually pictures.
Right.
As you look. Right, let's go with another one. This is from 1972 now. Now, what country would you say that was?
No, so my ignorance with flags.
Germany.
Is it Germany?
Well, it looks German.
It does.
It's Birmingham City, for crying out loud.
Is it really?
It's Birmingham City's third kit from 1972.
It's a very boring yellow, red and black stripe.
Why you would use the German or, I guess, West German flag, is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's go with another one. Now, this is my particular favourite. I think you would look fabulous in this.
Is that Dallas Cowboys?
Very close. The Colorado Caraboos. Caraboos from 1978.
Is that a football? What is it? Is it a football?
Soccer. Yeah,
Is it? Because it looks like it's a crop top.
No,
with
that's not
tassels.
skin underneath. That's all material.
But so it's a fake crop top with like skin-coloured material down to the waist.
Do you think it's a funny skin
like
colour,
that.
though, isn't it? It's a beigey colour, and with the fringe there.
Well, I can
That's
see
the
that.
Surrey with the fringe on top.
I can see the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders adopting that.
Snapping that one
And one
right
more
up.
for you. This is
then.
a classic from 1978, which everybody always talks about, which is actually available again these days. Coventry City. From 19 to chocolate
like a
brown.
mud brown.
Mud brown. Oh, chocolate brown.
Mud brown.
OK.
It looks dirty.
With massive white collars.
Massive white collars. See, they recreate a lot of those Admiral shirts. And that's Tommy Hutchinson, who played for Coventry. But they don't do them with the massive collars. They try to...
It's probably for the best.
Do you think so?
I think so. I've just been doing some research on this vegan kit.
Yeah.
Apparently it's all about the dyes.
Oh, is it?
So then they're not from animals. They are plant-based.
Plant-based dye.
in the football kit.
Do we know how it fares in the rain?
Wrong.
No.
Be white by the time you finish.
Yeah, probably more than a lot of the players do.
Oh, there you go. Oh,
That's the rugby, by the way.
Very good, very good.
Harsh. All right, Paul, thank you very much indeed.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Do stay with us till to come. We're going through the papers with Alex Armstrong and Penny Smith. But first, if you're in search of some holiday sun, here's the forecast for some of the top European destinations.
I hope we haven't forgotten anything.
Travel insurance, I tick that box.
Yeah, but remember what you forgot last year.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast. If you're off on your holidays this week, let's take a look at the weather across Europe. So particularly hot for Italy and Greece, but further west, particularly windy for the Canary Islands and down the western coast of Portugal and in particularly the southwestern part of the Mediterranean. Thunderstorms for southeastern Spain, across France and northern Italy, but it's southern Italy and Greece that will be looking particularly hot, warmer than usual, and that heat is likely to last into the weekend.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off-limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good afternoon, Britain. Weekdays from midday.
Welcome to the Bakerloo line, where over the last year, 2 years, every single carriage seems to have been just absolutely covered in graffiti. So we're out this morning to try and do what the Mayor, Sadiq Khan, seemingly can't. Let's clean up the tube. Look, these doors used to be covered in graffiti, but no more. See, it's not impossible.
Not impossible it is, because there is so much that can actually be done. And just a few friends of mine, actually a guy called Joe Reeve, who organised this all, he's from the campaign group Looking for Growth. And he got in touch and said, do I want to come? And I was like, absolutely, I bloomin' do. Because I think we can show some pictures of some of our work, which was just on Sunday morning. And it was actually remarkably simple. What we did was we sprayed the graffiti with sort of anti-graffiti spray, eco-friendly anti-graffiti spray, actually, as it is.
I didn't know it was a thing.
A bit of scrubbing, and look, it just comes off. I mean, this stuff is not rocket science. A total lack of imagination, a total unwillingness to do anything about the sort of social decay that we're seeing in our cities and the country at the moment. A laziness, a profound laziness and lack of political will at the heart of the governance of London that means that people are just like, oh, the washing machine's broken, we'll just live with this social decay. Well, no, you don't have to live with the social decay. You can come up with new ways to do things. You can give some people some sponges, some water and some graffiti spray and get that stuff off. It's not impossible. Pull your socks up, Sadiq. Do something about it.
GB News, the People's Channel.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
Right, should we have a look through the papers with Alex Armstrong and Penny Smith? Once again, morning, you two. We're all bracing ourselves for President Trump heading to Scotland tomorrow, I think, Alex? But the Guardian says there's going to be protests.
Yeah, there are. I mean, look, I'm not surprised. There's always protests. Every time Trump comes to the UK, there's people who want to protest it. He is here in a personal capacity, so he's visiting his clubs, his Trump club, and it's invested, billions into the Scottish economy. But that doesn't stop the fact that he's a political figure now. So there's going to be protests. There always is. I suspect there'll be bigger protests when he comes here in September for the state visit. Yeah. I know that there's preparations for the blimp to come back, the Trump blimp.
Who cares, though? I mean, look, people are entitled to protest. I don't have an issue with that at all. But really, I mean, does it matter? He's not going to see it all, is he?
Yes, he'll be bypassing everything, won't he? Although there were rumours that he actually hated that blimp, that he did see the blimp and that he
insulted him.
Yes, that he didn't like it. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, he's president of the United States, whether we like him or not. We've got to get a good deal out of these guys.
Yeah, of course we have.
He's very favourable to us because of the royal family, so I hope we can capitalise on it and do a good job with him, because at the end of the day, we need this stuff to happen in the UK.
Yeah.
Penny, let's have a look at this one, shall we, in the Mail. What is the best time of day to go for an interview?
Midday. Midday is just the job. Apparently, they're saying that is where you get successful. And do you know what? I was chatting to. I wasn't chatting to you, was I?
Maybe, probably.
But I was chatting to somebody who was saying that they took their driving test, and when they took their driving test, they were told that never to go early. You know, to try not to get an appointment that was early in the morning or late at night, because early in the morning, you know, for various reasons, they don't want to pass. They go, I can't pass too many people or whatever. And at the end of the day, they're just miserable and fed up and want to get home, and they're just grumpy. And so it does seem that it's also about exams. I mean, just any kind of exams. A study of oral exams at university revealed students had the highest level of passing if they were held at lunchtime. And it's kind of, I mean, when you look at it, it's kind of, you know, perhaps possibly to do with the way food. I mean, they're saying they can't identify the patterns, but I wonder if midday is really good, because you've had your breakfast, and you haven't got your post-food slump, you know, where you suddenly your body goes into digestion or something. And maybe it's just, you know, coming up to lunch, you're excited about it, but you're not that hungry that you're hangry, and you can concentrate.
I honestly think that makes sense, because diet plays a big role in the way you see things, how your energy levels are, and I midday makes perfect sense to me. It's the time I'm probably happiest as well, frankly.
Exactly.
You know, like afternoon you get the lull, and the evening time I just want to relax. Midday's perfect. All your exams are midday if you can, kids.
Yeah. Can we just mention, just while I think on, Indian Prime Minister's signing the trade deal.
He is.
Today, aren't they? Modi,
Modi, he's flown over here to the UK to do this. So this is quite a big deal for Britain that he's flown over here.
But it is. But isn't this the controversial deal?
It is.
We've agreed to take a whole load of people in or something.
Yeah. Go ahead, Penny. Go ahead.
I was just going to say visa concessions. Those are the words that.
It seems like an odd thing to agree to under the current climate.
Under the current climate.
That is the big controversy with this, of course, is that we are putting visa concessions in. It will give them some tax benefits to Indian citizens that want to come and work here, as well as their businesses.
If it grows the economy.
Well, that's what we hope, right? We hope, and if it doesn't, it will be absolutely slammed. This is the gamble the Prime Minister's taking. If it doesn't grow the economy, and actually we see immigration go up as a result, but the economy's still shrinking, well, they're in trouble.
It's a gamble, isn't it?
Big trouble.
Penny, shall we talk about Borat?
I don't know why you've been very keen to look at this one today.
I just think it's not quite like the snow leopards.
No.
But nevertheless, I mean, I saw these pictures and I went, well, the headline in the Mail is From Borat to Fworat. This is Sacha Baron Cohen, who we know him as Borat, and also as, what was he before then? Ali G.
Ali G, how can we forget?
And he's on the cover of Men's Fitness UK because he's playing Mephisto, a devil-like figure in Disney Plus TV series Ironheart. Anyway, that's beside the by. He's been transforming himself into that sort of... Look at that, that's a muscle machine, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he started off, apparently, this is starting off with 100 press-ups a day. I tried to do a press-up the other day.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Did you get on?
Well, no, I thought that... I thought just lying there. I just thought lying there and then sort of just essentially just kind of going like that was probably enough.
Sure, did you say it's the thought that counts?
Yeah, it's the thought that counts.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that.
No, I can't. I can't do one.
Or a pull-up.
I don't know if I agree with the thought that counts is actually quite accurate. I don't think that's actually very wrong.
But I mean, yes, I agree with you. I mean, I can't even do a pull-up. My dad used to sort of hang us on this sort of like this crossbar thing that in the garden, and the boys used to just my brothers would pull themselves up, and I'd just hang there like a really useless lemming. Lever.
Grip strength is really important. So if you can hang there, that's actually not too bad.
Oh. I I can just hang there.
Yeah.
That's an interesting
have
thing
you
you've
tried
discovered.
testing your grip strength at all, Stephen, recently?
No, I can't say I have.
No.
Can't say I have.
You should try. You should try.
I will try it.
Yeah.
Try,
let me know how
try
you
with
get
your
on.
vape right now and try gripping it really hard. Oh, sorry.
I don't.
He doesn't have
I've
vape.
no idea what. I've no idea what
you're talking about,
It's in
Ellie.
your pocket, and it's in your pocket. I know that.
Or your pen. Hold your pen.
Yes,
It's about the right
hold that pen. Yeah. Anyway.
Alex,
Yes.
can we talk about Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson?
We can
Potentially the
indeed.
new couple on the block.
Yes. I mean, first of all,
a good PR
I love the naked guy.
Yeah.
It is that sense of humour is totally up my street.
Super.
We were talking about this in the
I'm
green room.
slightly worried about them trying to remake it, though, sort of
I
thing.
know,
I am worried
because,
about that,
And for
yeah.
those who haven't seen it, it is brilliant. It's Leslie Nielsen and Priscilla Presley and O.J. Simpson.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yes, but nevertheless, it is one of the funniest films ever. I still
Brilliant.
giggle. I saw it recently. Still funny.
It's timeless humour. It really is. And of course, Liam Neeson. Yeah, he's 73. 73 is looking good. 73 looking great. Pamela Anderson. So there's a love romance that supposedly sparks. I'll quote.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Nobody saw it coming, supposedly. But apparently, Liam Neeson has said that he's head over heels for Pamela Anderson. And wouldn't that be lovely if it was? Because he's gone through a lot, obviously, you know, with his own. I've
got quite a lot of respect for her, especially she's done all this makeup-free stuff and she looks totally different and she's just saying, deal with it. I like that.
Yeah, so do I. I think everybody pretty much says, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
But you never
Except
know.
wearing a comical face.
All right, you two, thank you very much indeed. It's been great to see you this morning.
Yeah, thank you. Let's get a check on the weather with Amy.
Even though we'll see a cloudy start, it'll be a bright outlook for the rest of the day. Boxed Solar, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Hello and welcome to your latest GB News weather update from the Met Office. Dry with sunny spells for many across the UK, but it will be a particularly wet day for those in eastern parts of England, and there'll be further rain arriving from the west later on as well. There's that area of rain arriving into Lincolnshire, into parts of East Anglia and then into London as we head later on through the morning. But for much of the UK, there'll be plenty of dry and bright spells with this frontal system arriving later on in towards the evening. Temperatures, again, are going to be around 18 to 20 degrees across the far north, warmest in the south, 24 or 25 for southern Wales and southern England. But underneath this cloud and with this rain and with this North Sea coastal breeze, it'll probably be feeling a little bit chillier across the far southeast of England. Here we can see temperatures around 18 degrees or so. Warmer though for Devon and Cornwall, and plenty of sunshine here. Wales seeing a nice day as well. Cumbria and for parts of western Scotland who saw quite a damp day on Wednesday, there'll be plenty more sunshine as well. Further north though, for parts of Shetland, there'll be some showers coming through as we head through the day as well. Through the rest of Thursday then, so that rain that was affecting London in the southeast will slowly start to move away as we head into the overnight period, and there will be lots of dry spells around, but this frontal system will be slowly and steadily moving eastwards as we head in towards Friday morning, arriving and giving some mild conditions, 14 to 16. Coolest temperatures will be in central parts in rural locations as well. But across the central parts of England, and particularly the southeast, will be a dry and bright start to the day on Friday. Further west, though, that frontal system, weakening as it moves eastwards, will introduce some further cloud and some quite rainy and drizzly conditions. Over high grounds of Wales, it could be quite murky as well there. Cooler across the far north, 17 to 20 degrees, but the warmth in London around 28 degrees.
Expect a warm front, moving from the kitchen right through to the rest of the house. Boxed Boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. In Bedfordshire, expect delays on the A421 southbound at junction 13 of the M1 due to a collision causing lane closures until 11:15. In Devon, a broken down vehicle on the A38 westbound between the M5 and A382 has caused lane closures, with normal conditions by 9. Construction on the M4 between junction 37 Pyle and junction 39 Groves is causing road closures, with diversions in place. In Hampshire, expect a 10-minute delay on the M271 northbound amid congestion. And on the trains with Hull Trains, expect reduced service due to ongoing industrial action. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
£54,321 cash could be yours. Cash that you could spend however you like. It's like having an extra £1,000 each week for a whole year to play with. Someone is guaranteed to win this amazing amount of cash. So make sure that someone could be you. For another chance to win £54,321 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB14 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world. Am I allowed to talk now? No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I got up? About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Good morning. Police are warning a summer of unrest could cause untold damage.
Public anger mounts as it's revealed that thousands of asylum seekers are using taxpayers' money to gamble.
And also protests break out near a 4-star hotel in London that's set to house asylum seekers this summer.
Well, is this the start of a summer of civil disorder? Earlier we spoke to Deputy Conservative Chairman Matt Vickers.
People should have the right to protest over what is a terrible situation. Some of the incidents that are suggested to have happened with some of these migrants are appalling.
Police boss warns that events in Epping are a signal flare of problems to come. How will we cope, and how did it get to this point?
The countdown is on to President Trump's arrival in Scotland, but police warn they're not prepared as officers are sent to fill security gaps at the last minute.
Yes, well, we're about T-minus 1 day until President Donald Trump arrives here in Scotland. We know he's going to be visiting his business interests on this personal trip. It's 5 days, so we'll be unwrapping what might unfold between now and the other side of the weekend.
NHS patients are warned of devastating delays as resident doctors push on with their 5-day strike starting tomorrow.
Food industry leaders lash out at the government's family farms tax with a stark warning that food security could be threatened.
A fairly settled day for much of the UK, but there will be some areas of rain moving in. Find out about weather in your area with me later on.
It's just gone 9 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast.
There's been a brilliant discovery. You know, when it's stuff that they've talked about for hundreds and hundreds of years finally becomes true. Alchemy, turning lead into gold.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they've not quite managed it. What they can do now is turn mercury into gold.
Now, that's very good, because gold prices are through the roof.
They are through the roof at the minute. It's boffins.
It's always boffins.
They like boffins, so they can convert mercury into precious metal, into gold, by using nuclear fusion.
I like
so
the sound
there you
of
go.
that.
So it would probably cost more than the gold to actually do it.
Well, depends
because
how much.
nuclear fusion's
Electric.
a very expensive and difficult thing to do.
Well, yeah.
However, you can do it, so you can turn stuff into gold now.
I think that's a good start.
Yeah.
I think we should continue down that track.
Who knows where it might
The
end?
boffins should definitely keep researching.
We could be sat here with gold computers and...
Gold desk.
Gold phone.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Everything gold.
There's no such thing as too much gold.
No.
It's worth a fortune.
Well, it wouldn't. If we turned everything into gold, it'd be dead cheap, then no one would care. But it'd look fantastic.
Great point.
So there you go. So well done, boffins, is what I say this morning.
Now, let's take a look at our top story. And police have admitted that they are not prepared for a repeat of last summer's protests.
Well, as officers are deployed to keep peace outside a 4-star hotel in London that is reportedly preparing to welcome asylum seekers this summer.
Well, the rise in tensions isn't helped by a Daily Mail exclusive this morning that reveals that thousands of migrants are using taxpayer handouts at casinos and betting shops.
All begs the question then, doesn't it? Is it going to be the start of a summer of unrest?
Well, let's get some reaction from GB News political correspondent Catherine Forster. Morning to you, Catherine, and quite an admission from the police that they're not ready for a potential summer of unrest.
Yes, it's really worrying. The head of the Police Federation has said that events in Epping are a signal flare and is concerned that they are not ready, that they don't have the resources. And while saying that they will somehow cope, she's questioning, she says, whether the country still values the men and women who step forward when everything else breaks down. The police bosses say that pay is down 20% in real terms since 2010. Numbers of local police are down. The government saying numbers are going up. But look, I think resources are very stretched. And of course, Donald Trump is about to arrive in Scotland, as we just heard. That's going to require a huge police operation. It's a private visit. And I think choices may have to be made this summer. Let's hope that things do not escalate. But at the moment, there are a lot of tensions. And of course, these stories that we're hearing in the papers do not help, do they?
Yeah, I mean, it's like the eye of the storm, isn't it? I mean, the Conservatives this morning saying figures are down by 1% in terms of police actual numbers since Labour came to power. But we are at this point where it's not necessarily even about policing these protests, isn't it? It's got to be about preventing them, about taking some action, because it's boiling over now.
Indeed. And I mean, I was listening to the Cabinet readout, the final lobby briefing in Downing Street the other day to political journalists, how the Deputy Prime Minister, Angela Rayner, warning about this, warning that immigration, deindustrialisation, these communities, people feeling horrendously let down and saying we've got to address these problems and do so now. Of course, they've been building for many, many years and so many people feel that they have been overlooked. There's a housing crisis, the cost of living crisis. You know, people are still struggling and they see, we heard Matt Vickers said it, didn't he? He said they're rolling out the red carpet, people breaking into the country illegally, being put up in hotels. We've seen the Britannia International Hotel in London. It would normally be a 4-star hotel. The government have taken it over for asylum seekers. There's new mattresses arriving. It's little wonder that people see this and are very angry. And then this extraordinary story on the front page of the Daily Mail today that asylum seekers, when they're in fully catered accommodation, get these preloaded, like a card with £10 on it. But when they go into self-catered accommodation, they get £50 a week, which is for essentials, just for essentials. And yet there's been thousands of cases where they have used these cards basically for gambling. And so I think the idea that people are coming, funded by the taxpayer, put up in accommodation and then have sufficient money that they're able to gamble is something that will enrage the public. And the government, I think, are going to have a difficult summer. Even if things do not escalate, clearly they need to address these concerns. And for all that the government will say asylum hotel numbers are going down, the costs are going down, but the numbers crossing the channel are up 50% on a year ago.
I thought we're doing away with migrant hotels.
Yeah, I mean, the government have said that will happen, and they've said that will happen by the end of the Parliament. But the problem is, while the numbers are up 50%, unless you reduce the pull factors, reduce the incentives to come, no matter how quickly you process them, you know, you've got to reduce the things that are bringing people here. And one of the things is disappear into the black economy, work, delivery drivers, whatever, be put up in a nice hotel, get everything paid for.
And free money for gambling, should you choose to use it that way. All right, Catherine, thank you very much indeed.
Well, it's like the French MP, isn't it, who described Britain as El Dorado. Just saying it's got too much of a pull factor. People want to cross the channel because they know they're going to be looked after.
Yeah, that's where it's got to stop. It's got to stop. Anyway, the Home Office has responded to the Canary Wharf situation, and it says it's making strong strides to deliver a more sustainable and cost-effective asylum accommodation system, which includes ending the use of hotels, testing new locally led models, whatever that is, and working closely with local authorities and other departments to ensure a fairer and more efficient approach.
And a spokesperson for Tower Hamlets Council has simply said that they're aware of the government's decision to use the Britannia Hotel in Canary Wharf to provide temporary accommodation for asylum seekers.
Right, let's give you something to smile about this morning, should we? Because there is not much over 1 week remaining, actually, in our current Great British giveaway. You could win £54,321 in tax-free cash. Here's how.
£54,321 in tax-free cash really could be yours. But what's it like to be a big Great British giveaway winner?
I'm Paul from Sheffield. I was the winner of a very nice motorhome and £5,000 in cash off GB News. Yeah, he just pinged up money in, 5,000, and I'm like, wow, I have actually won this competition. It has changed my life. It's given me stability and it's given me something to look forward to. Anybody can win. I never thought I was going to win, and I did. So thank you, GB News.
Lines close on the 1st of August, so make sure you don't miss out. For another chance to win, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB14 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Yes, good luck. Now, at 10 minutes past 9, the head of agriculture at Marks and Spencer's has backed farmers over the inheritance tax row with the government.
Yeah, he says it will put young people off from entering the industry and could jeopardise the future of our food security.
Well, earlier we spoke to farmer and YouTuber Ollie Harrison.
Well, obviously, M&S buy a lot of food from UK farmers, and they've realised already, as a few other supermarkets have, that the confidence has just completely gone out of the industry. It's not investable anymore. Farmers aren't spending any money, whether it's putting up buildings, getting more livestock, buying tractors. So tractor sales are the lowest they've ever been since, I think, 1998. You know, the industry stalled on the 31st of October, and it's just uninvestable at the moment, and it's only going to lead to a decline of domestic production. And in the report that came out by the Treasury the other day to sort of like justify the numbers behind it, they said, oh, it doesn't matter, we can import it. Well, that isn't very food secure, is it? And it's probably not going to be the safest of food because they don't have the standards all over the world like we have here. So it's hardly surprising that they've come out with that agreement, really.
But young farmers are the future, aren't they? They're the next generation. Are you hearing in your community and in the industry that there are young people that are maybe thinking about other options, maybe thinking about pursuing different careers, seeing that there might not be a future for them on the family farm?
Oh, yeah, every day. I mean, you know, if the father or mother or whatever were to pass away, the 20% bill on the assets is just not sustainable. I mean, last year, even government's own figures, we made minus 0.8% on capital returned. Well, how do you expect to pay 20%? It's just, people can't afford to farm anymore with this legislation. It's just absolutely ludicrous. And we just seem to be hitting this wall of ignorance, really, not wanting to listen to how agriculture works. And also other family businesses that may have been built up over hundreds of generations, hundreds of years, several generations. To then expect one generation to pay 20% of the value of what that business is using to operate, it's just not possible.
I mean, that's the thing. I know there's a lot of focus on farming. It's not just about farming. It's not just farming that this affects, is it? And at the end of the day, I mean, farming we need for food security. Small businesses, we often seen as the green shoots of the economy when they start to grow. We're very reliant on both sectors, and they're both being hit.
Yeah, and we are all taxpayers as well. You know, if we make profit, we pay tax. You know, other businesses obviously can change their own pricing structure so that they always do make a profit, otherwise they wouldn't be here anymore. Agriculture is always the outlier, and the sums that have been done by different people that are a lot cleverer than me, suggest that this is actually going to cost them 1.7 billion a year, not generate them 500 million. It's going to cost them 1.7 billion in lost tax revenue, job losses, the whole thing.
It's a worry.
It certainly is.
It is a worry. It's got to be addressed, but I mean, it's the way money is at the moment, you can't see anything changing at the minute.
I mean, the farmers will be hoping that this could be the next U-turn. They can hope so anyway.
Yeah. Keep your fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Right, still to come for you. The countdown is on, and not long to go now, till President Trump arrives in Scotland. But what's he going to get up to during what is essentially a private visit? We'll find out in a moment.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience, because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You've read the headlines, you've heard what those in power have to say. How about now we actually get to the truth?
They would pay attention.
We go beyond the political theatre and tell you what's really going on behind the scenes. For a massive council tax hike, one of the biggest in the UK. Others follow their lines, but we go off script.
You sound like a broken record, select week after week.
Cutting through the narratives and giving you unique perspectives. That's Ben Leo Tonight, Saturdays and Sundays from 9 p.m. on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more.
Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
It's a surprise.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
We're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
Coming up to 9:18, and Donald Trump is set to begin a 5-day visit to Scotland tomorrow.
Well, alongside opening his new golf course, the President will meet with the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, and Scotland's First Minister, John Swinney.
Well, the President might be glad to have a little bit of respite from Washington after reports that he was told his name is in the Epstein files. Apparently told that back in May.
Well, the White House has called the allegations fake news and said it's a conspiracy concocted by the Democrats.
Well, let's head to Scotland, should we? Tony Maguire is there for us, preparing for the President's visit over the weekend. I mean, it's interesting, Tony, because it's a private visit, but there's going to be a fair bit of politics mixed into this.
Yeah, correct. I mean, you kind of almost feel a little bit sorry for the President. Here he is planning a little bit of R&R over in Scotland to open his new course up in Aberdeenshire, and you know, he's got Keir Starmer and John Swinney banging down his door wanting to set up meetings. But no, all joking aside, you know, this is an interesting one. It's going to be a bit of Braveheart in there with a little bit of Swan Lake, because there's going to be some, you know, tentative dancing around the main political agenda of issues like the ongoing humanitarian crisis in Gaza, as well as, of course, that all-important tariffs trades deal, you know, and we've spoken to various politicians over the last couple of weeks ahead of this, you know, even when this was just an idea, a potential visit, and very much, you know, the same kind of mentality persists of that we have to take the most of this opportunity, both for Scotland. In fact, Anna Sarwar put it as, you might not agree with the President's politics, but you cannot deny his love for Scotland. That is very, very real. And of course, Donald Trump is half Scottish himself. We've spoken about it many a time. His mother, Mary Ann MacLeod's from the Isle of Lewis in the small village of Tong, and he holds this country very, very close to his heart, not just because it's home to two significant business interests to the UK and Scottish economies, but also because I think he just genuinely loves being here. In fact, there are 33 US presidents who can claim Scottish heritage, and I think we can agree that none of them have invested so much or, you know, waxed lyrical so much about their love for Scotland. Now, I spoke earlier this week to John Swinney during the tall ship's departure from the ports of Aberdeen, and we looked ahead to what he hoped is going to be a profitable visit and discussions with Donald Trump.
People will appreciate, I think, the necessity of the First Minister of Scotland meeting with the President of the United States when he comes to Scotland, and my job is to protect and to promote the interests of Scotland, and that's what I'll be doing in the dialogue with President Trump. We've got significant economic ties that it's important that we nurture to sustain and develop those economic opportunities, and that will be the focus of the discussions that I take forward. And of course, that will also happen within the context of a period of significant economic of international turmoil, and many of those issues are important for us to make sure that I set out the perspective of Scotland in that respect.
Now, right off the back of that conversation, I asked John Swinney about tariffs and, of course, those trade deals. And, you know, because here in the UK, the biggest food and drink exports we have are Scottish salmon and, of course, Scotch whisky. Now, it's going to be imperative to them. Salmon secured that all-important part of that trade deal with the EU. But Scotch whisky has been languishing and is feeling a bit missed out on when it comes to these trade deals. Now, certainly, we expect Donald Trump to visit both of his properties here in Scotland, one in Ayrshire, and of course the opening of that new course in Aberdeen. And policing is, as you can see behind me, roads are already closed, well in preparation of this visit, and here thought I was the only one nerdy enough to be here a day earlier than the President arrives.
It is going to be a huge security operation, isn't it, Tony?
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, in fact, earlier this week there was a bit of scuffle between the Scottish Police Federation and Police Scotland. The Police Federation, who represent the officers here in Scotland, were considering legal action because of what they said was the immense strain that they were going to be placing on officers, because of course this isn't a state visit, this is very much a personal visit, and yet in many respects, for, you know, as far as the police service is concerned, came a little bit out of the blue. Nevertheless, Police Scotland has said that they have requested other officers to come in from Northern Ireland to help support that operation. But certainly as we look ahead to that state visit in September, you know, the operation here is very much going to be an opportunity for a dry run before that you know, incredible, never happened before second state visit for President Trump in September.
Good stuff. Tony, thank you very much.
Right, coming up for you at 9:30, Ben Leo and the ever-present Dawn Neeson, omnipresent Dawn Neeson.
You love it.
I do.
You love it. You
We're
can't
on
get
the weekend, aren't we? Together.
We are. You
See, it
can't
never
wait,
ends.
yeah.
You two are doing the weekend?
Yeah.
Breakfast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Never
that
ends.
sounds so.
Heard it here first. Heard it here
Right, what have you
first.
got for us?
Sorry, we have got a brilliant show coming up. Well, it's a serious show. We are covering, obviously, the story that's on some of the front pages today, the summer of riots. A great story, especially, it's just as all our politicians go off on their summer recess.
It's interesting, though, isn't it? Because there's a lot of concern, but we have to be very careful not to encourage, you know, troublesome protests.
But this is coming from the Police Federation.
Yeah,
This is coming from agitators. This is coming from the police themselves. They are worried they will not be able to look after our streets. We're also talking about pensioners, and pensioners are being in poverty. You know, 5,000 died of cold last winter, and we have 1.9 million pensioners living in poverty.
Just on the wider topic of the state of the country and migration, we've got academic and campaigner Frank Furedi on the show today. He's written a really great piece in the Daily Mail, and there's a quote in there from the most senior civil servants in the country under 3 prime ministers between 2005 and 2011, which said, "At the Treasury, I argued for the most open door possible to immigration. I think it's my job to maximise global welfare, not national welfare." That is the kind of civil service we've been living under for the past decade or so.
Oh, well, that's a bit of a shocker.
Yeah. Well, on that bombshell, more of that to come after your weather. See you in a tick.
Heavy showers first thing will be followed by a warm, cosy day. Boxed Boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Hello and welcome to your latest GB News weather update from the Met Office. Dry with sunny spells for many across the UK, but it will be a particularly wet day for those in eastern parts of England, and there'll be further rain arriving from the west later on as well. There's that area of rain arriving into Lincolnshire, into parts of East Anglia and then into London as we head later on through the morning. But for much of the UK, there'll be plenty of dry and bright spells with this frontal system arriving later on in towards the evening. Temperatures, again, are going to be around 18 to 20 degrees across the far north, warmest in the south, 24 or 25 for southern Wales and southern England. But underneath this cloud and with this rain and with this North Sea coastal breeze, it'll probably be feeling a little bit chillier across the far southeast of England. Here we can see temperatures around 18 degrees or so. Warmer though for Devon and Cornwall, and plenty of sunshine here. Wales seeing a nice day as well. Cumbria and for parts of western Scotland who saw quite a damp day on Wednesday, there'll be plenty more sunshine as well. Further north though, for parts of Shetland, there'll be some showers coming through as we head through the day as well. Through the rest of Thursday then, so that rain that was affecting London and the southeast will slowly start to move away as we head into the overnight period, and there will be lots of dry spells around, but this frontal system will be slowly and steadily moving eastwards as we head in towards Friday morning, arriving and giving some mild conditions, 14 to 16. Coolest temperatures will be in central parts in rural locations as well. But across the central parts of England, and particularly the southeast, will be a dry and bright start to the day on Friday. Further west, though, that frontal system, weakening as it moves eastwards, will introduce some further cloud and some quite rainy and drizzly conditions. Over high grounds of Wales, it could be quite murky as well there. Cooler across the far north, 17 to 20 degrees, but the warmth in London around 28 degrees.
There will be a light breeze in the morning, leading to a warm front. Boxed Heat Pumps, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The M4 is closed between junctions 37 at Pyle and 39 at Groves for construction, with diversions. In Staffordshire, the A50 eastbound is congested between the A522 and the junction with the A518 at Uttoxeter East, causing delays. Bedfordshire drivers on the A421 southbound at the junction with the M1 junction, 13 face lane closures due to a collision. Congestion on the A20 eastbound in Kent between the A260 and the junction with the A2 is causing a 15-minute delay. And on the trains, Hull Trains operator reduced service due to industrial action. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
On this day, 4 years ago, GB News was born, launching our first live broadcast on June the 13th, 2021. Let's take a look back at some of our earlier memories.
If you've just switched on, a very warm welcome to you. I am Alistair Stewart, and until 3 p.m. this afternoon, I'll be keeping you company, along with friends and, I hope, friendly guests. I hope you'd agree that we've had a strong hour of debate and discussion so far, but there's lots more still to come. GB News is all about you, our viewers. Any burning questions or stories that you think we need to cover, no matter how big or small, we really do want to hear from you.
Well, we can now speak with former GB News presenter Alistair Stewart. Alistair, thank you so much for joining me. Thinking back to 4 years ago, what did you think the channel's prospects were? Did you think it would be a success?
I did. Thank you so much for having me on, and a very happy birthday to you, one of the many brilliant faces, as we call it in the trade, presenting programmes, but also to the absolutely wonderful team of technicians that you've got behind you, making sure that this all gets on air very smoothly. And we've not only hung on in there, but we've now got GB News Radio as well. Online, we're huge. We get quite good numbers on viewing, very, very good numbers on listening, well ahead some of the other competitors. I do remember when Murdoch launched Talk, there were quite a few people in the newsroom who were nervous, not because they were so good, but because Murdoch had so much more money than we did. We've seen them off. They're virtually dead in the water now, and we are thriving, celebrating 4 years of triumphal and brilliant journalism.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Hello, very good morning to you. It's 9:30 on Thursday, July the 24th, live across the UK. This is Britain's Newsroom with Ben Leo and Dawn Neeson.
Yeah, good morning to you. Your main stories this hour. Police unprepared. Warnings this morning that police are overstretched and may be pushed to breaking point over the growing numbers of protests against migrant hotels.
Well, the Police Federation is concerned that the police service will not be able to concentrate on the serious crimes that many people care about because they're having to provide these resources for further protests.
Elsewhere this morning, jackpot migrants. Some asylum seekers are using taxpayer-funded benefits on casinos and betting shops, of course they are, rather than essentials like food.
Why wouldn't they? Meanwhile, 2 million pensioners in Britain are currently in poverty as MPs from all parties demand a UK-wide strategy to tackle the problem. We'll have all the latest on that story for you.
The Prime Minister and his Indian counterpart, Narendra Modi, will sign a trade deal between the two countries today. That's as Sakir champions it'll be great for Britain.
Ladies and gentlemen, we do thank you very much for your attention, and now we invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the